Cameron Show. We appreciate that. Thanks for the support. And for those of you watching, very modern way of doing this on the YouTube, Warchant TV. We appreciate that too. Doffing of the cap to all of you. So avoid the raindrops or don't, whatever floats your boat while you're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show. I was just about to lay down some healthy, good for the environment fertilizer, Tom, in my backyard, but I saw on the horizon the inclement weather, so I waited.
Isn't the weather a good thing for it, though?
Yeah, well, once you've sprinkled some stuff down, then you do need the rain to come. But I missed my window yesterday, so it's like, okay, yeah, hold up, we'll start over. So we're good. All it meant was that I didn't have to do something.
Well, yeah, that's a win. That is a win.
Just didn't have to do anything, man. It's great. Did watch Florida State win. I did not make my way over to Dick Howser Stadium for yesterday's game. I wasn't going to do that. It was a little gloomy, on the whole, just kind of, I could watch this at the house.
On the whole, it's been a minute.
I've purposely pushed that off. You got to get rid of those verbal.
That's all right.
Touches.
It adds some color.
Yeah, this time around it did. I just decided, I'll watch from the house. I like watching Mendez pitch. I just do. I actually think he's our second best pitcher. I'd put him in the 2-hole.
Well, given the two performances so far, he has been, yes.
Yeah. I just like his, but it's not just those performances. Both have been fine. We already know what you have, obviously, when you're atop the rotation. You just kind of, Jamie Arnold's it's almost boring how consistently good he is. It's a good kind of boring. But I've enjoyed watching Wes Mendez. 16 Ks in his 2 starts, by the way. That is doing some things, 2 wins, and has looked really good. He dots that inside fastballs to righties, and that's the whole thing. Like, he can clip that inside corner at 93, 94 to righties, and then you're just you're in trouble. You're a little bit of trouble there. He's got you off the plate. He's going to go away, and you're going to sit.
Outside of Friday, you did get a couple situations this weekend where you have high leverage moments for the guys out of the pen. Even the staff had it too. But it's nice to see, I'm sure, if you're evaluating what guys do when the heart rate is elevated. Even the defense behind them, all those little things.
Yeah,
you got a chance to see some important moments this weekend against Penn. And I'm sure you didn't expect that after Friday's result, where they were caught looking at the stars. But that's okay. You did get those moments now, and that's better for assessing what you need to do, what you are, and also you can keep people honest, and you can fight against complacency when you have a couple of those games that are kind of nip and tuck there for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely you do, and I prefer they play those kinds of games. That's why I said before, I get it. Every team in America plays a team that from up north early in the season usually. Come down here and play these games where they can get these games in, and that's fine. I got it. You can't play a top 20 team every day, every time you go out there. But I'd prefer stiffer competition because I already know the team's good. I'm trying to decipher how good, and it's hard to do sometimes if you're just beating people 20-something to 2. It's you're kind of like, I don't know what this means. It's tougher. So you're right. I like to see guys in situations. Right now, I'm really enjoying trying to watch the younger players get their ABs, get their opportunities, to see what they do, to see if they learn from a bad at bat earlier in the game. Or they have a bad day at the office. The first night they play poorly, something happens. Maybe there's an error. Maybe defensively they screw something up, and then they get a chance to make amends. Do they learn from the mistake? In particular, offensively, you watch a kid have a bad at-bat. He's swinging over a breaking ball on 0-0, and it's a ball that bounces. And then you're kind of like, you're a little antsy in the box right now. And then, they look at the fastball on the next pitch. It's 0-2. They've buried themselves. You know where it's going. Do they adjust? Do they get better the next time they come up? And I think you're seeing that with some of these guys. Others still need to work on it. But it's fun. We'll get baseball on Tuesday. They play at Jacksonville, so Matt Millar's scared to death. Because that is always the rule. When we head on over to JU, that's where his nightmares are implanted all those moons ago when he was producing the show. And I would point out to him our gaudy record against Jacksonville, but whatever damage was done by the few heartbreaking losses have never left his brain. They've been etched indelibly. And that's makes me smile whenever we play Jacksonville, which we will on Tuesday. Florida State basketball lost over the weekend. You knew that. I mean, are they playing Okay, then they lost. That's how I look at it typically is, are they playing anybody other than Miami? Okay, well, then we're going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. At one point, we were down 20 to Louisville. So it's at that state, you're kind of like, well, this is over. 5 minutes left in the first half. We're down 20. I'm going to go do things. I'm going to go and leave this team behind for now. We did cut it to 6 at one point, eventually falling. Gave a good effort, 89-81. Look, Louisville isn't great on defense. Watkins led the team with 23 points. Ewan added 19 points. He's fun to watch play when he plays hard, and usually he does. But it wasn't good enough. So, Big Monday tonight. You're going to lock it in on Big Monday? You're going to watch North Carolina come to town? You're going to make your way over there for the Big Monday matchup?
I will not make my way out there, but I will watch. It's a whiteout also on a Monday night. So if you're going tonight, go get your favorite Knowles white t-shirt. Or if you're like Jeff and you have one of those things that you only take out of the closet twice a year, tonight's the night to go grab that white track jacket, whatever it is.
I should have worn it today. You're right.
Yeah, in solidarity.
I got a nice one, too. You're right. I should have broke it out. But I forgot they were playing tonight. That's where we're at.
So we're releasing a smash a little earlier, 6 o'clock, but I got to record little bits and pieces because Ira needs to be courtside.
Yeah.
And then Matt Lasser he doesn't even know this. I haven't texted him yet.
He's learning right now. He listens to the Jeff Cameron show.
He does.
Yes, he does.
Matt, I'm going to need your time here. About 10, 15 minutes to talk about the Under Armour camp that he caught in Orlando yesterday. He watched some elite players who are starting to consider Florida State because we're hitting the trail a little bit earlier. We'll see what comes of it. But
our coaches, the new ones that have come on board, are getting off their ass and doing some recruiting?
That's your editorial remark to what I said?
Yeah, we got to do better at recruiting. It's good to see that maybe these guys are getting off their ass and doing some recruiting, Tom. That'd be good. Last group failed at high school recruiting. Sucked at it, if we're being really honest. Couldn't even parlay undefeated regular seasons into a good class. That's tragic. That should never happen. That's a fireable offense. So it's good to see the new guys kind of get it. We got to get out there, guys, and get some good players in here. Don't know if you know that, but we need better players and lots of them.
We shall see what that materializes in, but it sounds like when they host junior days beginning again next month, because, you get 4 weeks worth of a break from recruiting and then it's all back at full bore. And then visitors for spring camp practices. Should see some names, some good ones, legitimate ones.
Well, that's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. I did you see you got me thinking about this now.
I, too, am looking forward to Michael and Matt's coverage of it, yes.
As you watch from afar.
That's correct.
Well, it's amazing. I was reading Bill Connolly's piece on returning starters. These are the off-season pieces you read about, returning production. You can kind of look at within the ACC if you're just trying to judge how we stack up in that ballpark. But as you do that, you realize that it is very difficult. It continues to be very difficult, and it's changing. This is the lowest production ever that he's ever documented returning to teams. He's been putting out that data since 2014. A lot has changed, as we all know, about how you calculate the data over the years with the changes in the sport. And basically all of the transfers in the bonus eligibility year associated with 2020's COVID season, that's all that we're done. We're done with all of that. And so since 2021, when returning production totals peaked because of the immediate effects of the bonus eligibility year, now we've watched these averages sunk by 23% initially. And it continues to go down. There's another transfer window still to come. The national average shifted only from 58% last February to 59% in August, but we'll end up with all-time lows in returning production department this year. And I went through some of those numbers, and it's interesting. One of the things that stands out that is sad, it is a unintended consequence of the system being what it is now, is that the challenges that are being mounted now for the group of 5 teams, they're screwed. And if you enjoyed some of that stuff out of the MAC and Mountain West and AAC and if you enjoy that level of football, it's getting tough for those guys.
Well, this had been my theory that the extra eligibility helped jumpstart parity and the discussion of parity. So if my theory holds, favorites are going to do pretty well this year because everybody's production is down. So you're going to fall back to raw talent. But we'll see. What does NIL and the transfer portal allow for to continue parity? Because there's multiple things going on at the same time. If there was no portal, if there was no NIL system, then I think there would be a steep drop off. So there still could be some parity here. But when you don't have that extra year of eligibility, save for NCAA rulings in the courts with JUCOs and all that other stuff, it becomes harder to amass a super senior team of men that play 19-year-olds who are 5-stars. We see that in the tournament all the time in basketball, but it had been happening in football the last 4 to 5 seasons.
Well, and where you're really, one of the things you notice is you have a hard time stockpiling any kind of decent depth. If you got a kid who's a really good player and it's known that he's a really good player, he's just behind a junior or a senior, but he's going to be great. Well, that everybody's rating each other's roster, especially if you have a need at said position. You're like, well, remember, we recruited so-and-so. We didn't get him. He went to Louisville where he didn't start last year. Word is he's a little pissed about that. He's got a senior in front of him this year. Might we place that call again? You're just seeing that now. And I just think in the trenches, it's going to be very tough. If you've got a quality offensive lineman, we all know that's where the game is won. Quality offensive and defensive lines. It's going to be hard to keep guys. It's a new challenge for coaches like never before. Until they put a cap on the amount of times you can transfer, and until they figure out multi-year deals with NIL where you can lock guys in, which is again is akin to being an employee, then you're going to just see this. Your very talented sophomore right tackle is gone if you don't play him going into his next year.
Yeah, it almost feels as though that's going to be the trend. We'll see if it bears out that you need to get that guy. If you're going to get him to your school, you need to get him after year one, because if he stays for his sophomore year, then he's on the brink of playing. And at that point, your window of opportunity is closed. Now, you're still always going to poach juniors and seniors who are on their last chance, and maybe a sophomore jumps them on the depth chart. But it does feel like there's that secondary market, kind of like how we got Jaylen Brown. There are more examples out there, but you get a guy early-ish in their career.
Yeah, 1 year.
1 year. They're not really all that committed to where they are. All right, yeah, they're recruiting over me. The hell with this. That feels like it's going to be a primary market in these transfer windows, unless there are multi-year agreements. And I really hope that we get to the day where in December's signing period, you hear from every single player, whether they're here for a 1-year renewable, 2 or 3. So then if you can attach your questions as a message board person. Hey, how's this guy doing? No, he signed for 3 years. Is he going to play?
Right. When's he play?
Versus, is this mercenary going to leave?
I think a lot of people, just to not set themselves up for real disappointment, I think if you got a guy that you're excited to see play and he's not playing, you kind of in your mind brace for the news. Like, how soon is this guy leaving? And it's tough because you would as a coach, you'd maybe be forced to give a guy more time than you want before he's ready, just to satiate, this hunger that kids have oftentimes, especially if they're heavily recruited. They think they could be starting somewhere else, and they're certainly hearing that from all those other places. And you've got to find a way to kind of talk them down off the ledge, let them know, hey man, I got your best interest in mind. Don't worry. In the meantime, like, you might very well have to every offseason recruit over him at the position because we're in a win now situation, which is why I'm hoping that we begin to see, this is something we talked about at the end of last week. It's why I'm really hoping we begin to see more sensible contracts given by athletic departments to head coaches, and no longer acquiescing to the singular super agent that demands his guy have 6, 7, 8 years left on his deal at all time.
Well, I think also the fact that there aren't that many elite coaches out there, at least not yet, that should help the athletic department be able to say no. Like, think about what the SEC was this year relative to the world of college football. It came back to the pack a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think that Nick Saban's departure had a little bit of something to do with that?
A little bit.
And everybody's afraid of, well, I'm going to lose my Saban. Well, there aren't.
No, they don't really exist, Sabans. Man. These are like all-time outliers.
You've got Kirby, and even they've been lesser than, still very powerful, but lesser than Ryan Day was getting second guessed all the way to the national championship. I mean, who are the coaches that are out there right now where you circle and say, in the golden era of 15 years ago when Dabo's on the rise, Saban is established, and Urban Meyer is a power? Where's your three? Are there three like that?
That are
gone.
That are can't miss, elite at the top of the sport annually.
Right.
You named him. You named the one. Kirby's produced at that level.
Yes.
Listen, Ohio State's produced at a very high level too, no matter what they think of Ryan Day.
And yet Ryan Day doesn't feel like the cachet of even a Harbaugh. And it took him forever to get it right at Michigan, but it doesn't feel the same. So you kind of have a bunch of B to B plus coaches out there. Maybe athletic directors will wake up to that. Well, I could just replace you with another B or B plus coach.
Yeah,
doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, I'm not held hostage by the prospects of, I'm going to lose out on the next transcendent coach, right?
Oh, Rich, I could pay this guy $6 million and then just take that extra $5 I was going to spend on him and use it on the roster? That might not be a bad idea.
You know, Tom, that I had to fight back the urge to tell you that Dan Lanning falls in that category, but
he has proven it 100%.
He's proven he's good.
He's proven he's good.
They're good every year. They're really good. They lost to the eventual national champion.
That they did.
But
they did lose to them.
They did lose to the national champion.
And he brilliantly put extra man on the field so they didn't lose to him twice.
That's right. As great coaches do.
That's right.
They figure out in the moment. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 373031.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. No, I don't swing, pools and spas, the pool in the back. I call swing, pools and spas. Now I'm soaking up some fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the Battle's End. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Florida State, obviously, again, tonight playing basketball. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, man. Hopefully we get some more news on how far along we are with the basketball hire. I am this is about the only topic I care about as it
Is this
pertains.
a wink, nod, nod thing?
No, it's actually
right.
not. I just was thinking about Big Monday tonight and how I wish it mattered. I was thinking about how it would be great if we had a team of consequence and, we were all headed over there this evening for a normal tip at 7 p.m. instead of 9. We could all do what we did not so long ago, which was celebrate a program that was in the midst of, having great success and on the cusp of playing in the NCAA tournament. Because we're getting
Great success, yes.
we're getting to the place where, the NCAA tournament, it happens. And you've spent a lot of time not thinking about it because your team's not going. Then all of a sudden it starts.
Not even a thought. Bracketology.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
none of it.
But then it gets started and you're reminded that you love it, that you love the NCAA tournament. The tournament itself is fun. It is. The tournament's fun. You'll see. When it starts back up, you're going to be like, yeah, the tournament's fun.
Oh, look at that. The tournament. Oh, wait, the players.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just going to be locked in on every single thing, but
Look at that. Jason Day's on a heater. 4 under through his first 10. That's the Players Thursday. There you go. There's your bet.
I did quite well over the weekend with the Mexico Open.
Strong to quite strong.
I did quite strong. I leaned into quite strong. I did not get the outright win from Jaeger, which would have been nice, but I did get 3 in my top 20 and top 10 bets.
Okay.
My Alex Smalley bet came through big. Jaeger came through for me. Had a bad Sunday.
Yeah, he was flat yesterday.
He was flat yesterday. Needed a little more out of Fat Boy, but he didn't come through.
Well, I think that's his playing partner, the 20-year-old. He's a rotund but very talented player. Pot Geeter?
Geeter is a very talented player who saw his putter let him down.
Well, and that 60-degree wedge that he left short-sided on 14 or 15.
How about my man getting the break of all breaks, throwing it into the bamboo? Throwing it into the bamboo and living to tell about it and winning.
That has happened before, not that long ago, and it victimized our own Daniel Berger. I'm so sad for him.
I'm thinking about it, yeah.
That was, I think it was the tournament in Connecticut that Keegan Bradley always wins or typically wins.
Yeah, the one up there, up northeast.
This year he did not because Jordan Spieth went off the tree on 18, and then he hit his second shot into the bunker, greenside bunker, and hold out.
That's right.
And that happened to Daniel. So this whole playoff thing, nice carom off the tree thing, Jordan Spieth has a new member in the club, and it's this Campbell fella.
Well, by the way, credit to him. I know this isn't a subject we're going to deep dive on. Nobody watched that tournament but you and me.
Potgeeter's ball speed's incredible.
We're the only two guys that watched
Hitting
this.
192.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It blew me away. Brian Campbell's the shortest hitter on tour. Nobody hits it shorter than him on the entire tour.
They were making fun of him yesterday on the broadcast. They said, this is a Champions Tour swing speed. Oh, man.
Well, Tom, there are days that we all, when we're playing the game, any game, where you do something great for even a moment, and you go, hey, that would have played up there with the big boys. If you're referring to what you've done off the tee on a day in which you're being compared to Brian Campbell, yes, you can hit it as far, if not
100.
further than Brian Campbell.
I
can too.
Yeah.
We both do.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
There was that one time at Bricktown 54 in Clearwater that I ran a game of 9-ball on pros. The guys were phenomenal, but my quarter was on the table. And so it was my turn, and we played twos. My buddy Matt didn't need a turn.
There he
I
is.
ran it. And after the game was over, I looked at him with one expression, which was, "Do you believe that?" He goes, "No." I said, "Me either." We're not defending. That's it.
I was happy for Brian Campbell to be, and his girlfriend weeping. I'm like, you got to marry her. She clearly loves you. She about had a nervous breakdown.
I love your short hitting ass.
He's never going to win again anywhere. So good for him.
He's got his status. All good.
Yeah, he's made his money. Save that money. I mean, he once had his card, then he lost it. He ended up on the Corn Ferry. Then he almost failed off the Corn Ferry. He talked about it in this post round. He's like, I almost gave up the game. He was talking about he had a quad on a par 3, and he said, "Yeah, I suck at golf.
Yeah.
I'm just not very good at this game.
Been there.
And I'm just going to call it a day." And good thing he didn't. He battled back the next day, and then he ended up making it to the final day for qualifying. And he was like, it was that close. That quad at that par 3 on 16, I was just about done. And I thought, man, I wish more people would hear this interview because that makes you very appealing. Like, that's all of us. We've all had a quad on a par 3. We're like, that's a 7. Mark me down for that 7. The toughie.
It's bad
2
enough
from the bunker.
It's bad enough that you could tell your play partner 6, and they'd be like, "Yeah, it sounds about right."
Yeah, they
But
wouldn't.
no,
even,
it's a 7.
It's a 7.
Really?
Yeah, it's
No, yeah, it is. Did you take 2 back there? Yeah, 2.
Yeah, I duffed the
Yeah,
first
duffed
one.
the
I
first
duffed
one.
up the first
Y'all
one.
didn't see that. That was a blind shot.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Oh my goodness gracious. Circling back to what I was talking about, the teams that were most likely to improve based on the SP Plus projections of returning starters. You know who's on that list?
Not us.
Definitely not us. Texas A&M's on that list for Mike Elko. But the University of Florida, and then the other one would be Clemson. Great. We play both.
Well, they better get it out of their starters, because if you look at Clemson's recruiting classes the last 2-3 cycles, it's not exactly lighting the world on fire. And they don't like the portal. Although he just dipped into it finally to go get that edge rusher from Purdue.
Finally did it.
But they aren't exactly lighting the world on fire. I don't think Clemson's got that kind of depth. I'd be interested to see. Not that we will beat them. I'm just saying, empires rise and fall. Looks like they've got a little bit of a problem on their hands.
It's a beautiful thing to watch play out. Let's hope you're correct. I'd love to have that conversation. We do have to play them, however, and we have to worry about us right now, which is all I do, is spend time worrying about us, making sure that we get back. Speaking of us, Florida State has 3 players at the NFL Combine. That's this week. What? Yeah, snuck up on us.
Remember when it used to start February, and now the NFL figured it all out?
Mm-hmm.
Spread the love.
Well, they have year-round dominance that is seldom picked off by any other sport for a period of time.
So who's the third? Because I thought I read that Mastro did not get invited.
Fitzgerald did.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll let Fitzy run around, but
Yeah.
they won't let Mastro run around.
It's
Fascinating.
You'll watch Joshua Farmer and Azaria Thomas is what you're going to watch.
Those are the obvious.
Those are the obvious 2 for those wondering, by the way. And again, those 3 will be there. Ryan Fitzgerald, Josh Farmer, stuck between saying Josh and Joshua, and Azaria Thomas. And as we predicted, as I talked about before the Senior Bowl, I thought the guy that had the chance to do the most amount of good and change his financial records forevermore would be Azaria Thomas. And it's going to piss me off. I'm happy for him. We enjoyed our conversation with Azaria Thomas.
Good kid.
He's a very good kid. But it's going to piss me off years from now when he's really good in the NFL, because he's going to be. And it's going to make me mad when that kid maybe, and I'm going to say mad for the right reasons, not besmirching anything about him. But if he goes at the end of the first round I'm going to be sitting there going, we had a first-round corner. 6'2", long, can run. Teams love him. Great disposition, hard worker. And we did nothing with him in his final season. Just steady out here sucking.
Well, then he also decided to, tackle less.
Well, I think this was all part of the overriding problem in general. There
Right.
was a whole lot of we're terrible. I don't feel like being here.
Right.
Even from the good kids. And he's a good kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I knew, too, that what would happen is that when you're on a bad team, you get overlooked quite easily. But the NFL is in the business of making sure they find the talent and bring it to their league because there are a lot of guys whose jobs depend on it. So the offseason, they'll go back and watch a 2-10 team, especially one with cachet like Florida State. And they'll go, wonder what happened there. They got a few guys I liked. In fact, they're required to because it's their job. They're scouts. And then they'll go look at the tape and they'll be like, that guy's talented. I don't know what they were doing scheme-wise. This is terrible. They don't execute at all, but that dude, he can go. And then they go to the Senior Bowl and they're like, I want to get a good look at him in person, see what was going on there. And then they see 6'2", long arms. And then they go, I want to interview that guy. Then they interview that guy and they find out Zaire Thomas is the yes sir, no sir kind of guy who you're never going to have to worry about. Like when you give him millions of dollars, do I have to worry about him? Am I going to pick this guy up from prison one night? Or is this a guy that I could just set it and forget it? He's studying his playbook. And in the case of Zaire Thomas, that is very much what you could do, which is put your mind at ease. He's going to try to be, his brother's been in the NFL 7 years, whatever. He's going to try to be a pro's pro. So not only do you see him shine at the Senior Bowl, so physically you see all the attributes that weren't showing up week to week here, but then you sit down and talk to him and you go, oh, whew, I don't have to worry about this guy. So you go back to your coach, you go back to your GM as a scout and you go, that's the guy. If we're unsure, if we've got 3 guys that we like at the position, they're all relatively the same. 6'2", long, can run, same 40 time. Hey, I interviewed all 3. This guy here, you're never going to worry about him. He's going to be a pro's pro. And that's how you go from projected prior to the Senior Bowl, maybe 3rd, 4th round kid to could go at the end of the 1st round. Good for him, man. Good for him. I'm proud of him. I think he's a great kid. I loved our conversation with him. He was not fond of tackling anybody last year in the run game. And I can only bet that when you're 0-3 or 1-5 or whatever the hell we were at one point, you're going, I got an NFL future. We ain't winning these games anyhow. Maybe I don't need to make that tackle. And it insults you to hear that, and you think to yourself, well, he's got to be a bad kid, but he's not. I think there's a little bit of human nature in there. I think there's an agent that tells you, hey, man, we got money to protect here. What are you trying to win there? You got nothing. You guys can't score. You're not going to score.
And then there's also the proverb, no bad students, only bad teachers. I mean, it's an oversimplification of the issue. However, you saw evidence on film earlier in the year that Shaheem Brown is extremely engaged in trying to get others to do the proper job, and
Until
they
he
don't listen
wasn't.
to him
Until he wasn't.
They don't, and he goes, well, I'm not doing this for my own health. What the hell?
Yeah, man. It's why, again, I get excited when I talk about this defense and the new coaching staff, because I think you're going to see a world of difference on defense this year in the way that they play. We'll see about success, but in the way that they play, I think it's going to be entirely different.
I sent you a text to that end on Friday about the recruit that they got a commit from last week. Linebacker, he's listed as a safety in some scouting services out of Miami Central, Karan Maycock. 6'1", 6'2", 200, 210 pounds, somewhere in there. Still needs to put on some weight if you're going to be a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's the edge, man. Plays with that snarl. The closing speed, the ability to wrap up, tackle, the willingness to run through dudes instead of just 2 guys. You want to run through them. All of those things, it fits. And if he's a tweener between safety or linebacker, who cares? This defense, when you do run the 3-3-5, is built on hybrid players who can do a little bit of both,
right?
Coverage and tackling. I don't know if that kid's going to turn out to be an All-American and All-ACC player, but I do know that when I watch his highlight tape, I need more of that.
Well,
I haven't seen much of that.
Well, and here's the thing, though. You know that the tape on Shaheem Brown, when he came out of high school, was that he was a dude. He was a hitter. He was nasty. People were like, "Oh, good, we got us a guy now. This is a guy who'll come up and hit you." played with a lot of physicality. We've watched him turn it down time and again now.
Yeah.
I watch him turn it down every week. Just turns it down. You get a play outside, you're right there to make that play. Oh, play's not made. Turn it down again.
I mean, it all started in Dublin. It wasn't just him. You had plenty of other guys, including a veteran safety. They went and they got out of the portal. It was one and done for Devontae Brown.
Yeah.
Was either late or timid or both.
Yeah.
Same thing with Omar in that game. You know, there's that screen play to the outside. It's a trick play that if you just trigger, you're going to make the play. But if you hesitate, you're lost. And there was just a whole bunch of that. It was like they hadn't prepared for it.
Well, I don't think you're
probably what pissed off Azaria.
I don't think you'll see any of that this year. Again, talking about the way that they play, how they play, the ferocity, all that stuff. That's all I'm saying. I don't know from a talent standpoint how good they can be, but you can't be good, even if you're talented, if you don't play hard, if you don't play fast, and you don't play violent. On defense, you can't be, I don't care how many NFL guys you have, you can't play the way we played and expect to have any success. So knowing that at the very least, that will not happen. It will not happen. This guy is not going to put his opportunity to be a head coach at risk by allowing guys to be on the field who don't play hard, who don't play fast, who don't play the way that he needs them to play to get the attention that he eventually wants so that he can become a head coach.
And if you miss, you miss. But miss playing like Earl Little.
Yeah. Miss playing fast. Yes, make a mistake at full speed, please. At 1,000 miles per hour. I'll live with it. Wrong guy, but at least you knock
There's a lot of two-footed driving going on in that secondary.
Yeah.
Little brake here, a little gas pedal here. Ooh, ooh.
So if you want to watch Azaria Thomas, Josh Farmer, and Ryan Fitzgerald, the scouting combine starts this week, Thursday. Look it up for defensive backs and defensive linemen. And I don't think I've ever seen kickers at the combine. Have you?
No, but I'm sure
like this segment, where you go over and you're like, oh, there's Rich. Oh, they're talking about these guys. I've never seen that.
We bring in Adam Vinatieri. Adam, what was your combine day like? Yeah. Well, you just want to hit him through the uprights.
Make the kicks.
If we can make those kicks.
Making the kicks is important.
Adam, do you think they should put them outside, at least in the elements a little bit? I never really thought of that, Rich. That's a good idea.
Shannon Young has made the move to be a part of the nation's largest mortgage company, now with Cross Country Mortgage. And that's better rates for you. We had somebody, he tweeted it out over the weekend. Jeff Cameron Show listener, heard the ad, reached out to Shannon, closed on a house. Dreams come true. Shannon put that out there and gave a little money to the Battles Inn to boot. So if that's you, if that's describing you, your wife, you guys wondering, maybe it's time. Give my man Shannon Young a holler. He'll work very hard, I can tell you that. And he's very good at what he does. And he serves in 7 states currently: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. Relentless, goal-oriented attitude, energy, smart, all those things you want. Loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com.
Your local news now.
The Perry Police Department is searching for an armed and dangerous suspect after shooting at a gas station turned deadly Saturday night on South Byron Butler Parkway. Authorities identified the suspect as Jaquise Freeman. No other information has been released. This is a developing story. A woman was behind bars after stealing a vehicle and hitting an occupied patrol car before leading police on a chase Friday morning. Tiffany Roberts was arrested and is facing multiple charges. The incident unfolded just before 4:45 a.m. after police officers responded to the 2700 block of West Tennessee Street. When officers attempted a traffic stop, Roberts fled the scene. An uninvolved patrol officer was traveling on Fairview Way before Roberts intentionally hit the officer's patrol car and continued to flee afterward. A pursuit ensued. The vehicle was stopped near the 2000 block of Capitol Circle Southeast after a Leon County Sheriff's Office deputy placed spike strips on the roadway. This is Rachel N.A. with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for rain, which could be heavy this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 62, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 50 with fog tonight. High of 73 tomorrow. Bright sunshine develops with fog in spots early. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 55 degrees. Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Neese Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Neese Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
No.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on Big River. Do see that James B, you are in. I didn't recognize what that was, Tom. Thanks for the info. Now I know. The green lettering for James B. He's always been a special poster, but now that we see James B is in green, he's highlighted, he's elevated above the rest with that green font.
Means he's a member.
It does mean he's a member, yeah.
You'll be hearing about that, everybody. You get special emojis and so forth if you want to join us on the YouTube side. Channel will always be free. It's just for little perks if you want them. But we will communicate more about that in the days to come.
I'm learning
it
as we
makes
go,
sense
guys.
that James B would be, yes, on board before we promote it. Fantastic.
Yeah, really cool. Very, very cool. I went through just now, by the way, Tom, when we were with this whole show's first hour with the thoughts of football and everything we've been talking about. I went during the break, and I don't know why I didn't remember it, but I thought to myself, hey, did Malik Benson go somewhere? He did. He went over to Oregon, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. I remember that now. He had the extra year because of the eligibility ruling, and so he decided to take advantage of that. Yes. I forgot it was Oregon.
I forgot it. I couldn't remember where he went, but we were talking about Lanning before, and then what that made me do was go look and see where everybody else went. I remembered, obviously, Marvin Jones Jr. went to Oklahoma. You know, it's going to be tough if Marvin Jones Jr. goes and plays well at Oklahoma. I mean, obviously, people know my family members that graduated from OU. That's my second favorite team because of that. Some family history from Oklahoma where people lived as well. And I think, well, you know, he hasn't played well anywhere yet. So if he plays well at Oklahoma, that's good for Oklahoma, which would make me happy. But I would be furious if he goes and unlocks the tools that you see that he has and he possesses physically. If we see it, I'm going to think, damn it, man.
That one wouldn't make me as mad as the Azareye'h Thomas example from the previous segment, just because it didn't work at Georgia. So it's not as though there is something specifically wrong with Florida State in this case. Whereas with Azareye'h, you got nobody else to blame.
Yeah, you know.
He came here.
Yeah.
It's the only place he was. But Georgia had problems unlocking the potential. Oklahoma stands as last chance U for Marvin Jones Jr. See what he does with it.
You know, I don't root against them. I'm not saying that. I don't root against these guys as long as they didn't do anything heinous while they were here. But, yeah, I root for guys to do well. I just get mad at us. I just get mad at us for not doing the right thing. Oh, we got to come in here? If MJJ does well at OU, FSU fans will say, what should happen sooner? Well done, Taylor Swift. Well done. Yeah, it's exactly what will happen, and there'll be immense frustration, though. Just a ton of it. I think that you'll just we'll rue this year. We're just going to spend a lot of time until we have something tangible to talk about that's real, that's of substance. You just left thinking about it.
There's a lag effect to trailing, a wake that you just have to rock in. Like you're a duck on the lake. Here goes the boat, and you're just waiting for that wake.
For it to happen.
He's going to rock back, and that's what we're doing right now. We need spring football, and this happens to be a year where clearly, since we do not have the spring football schedule, still, you're looking at post St. Patrick's Day or St. Patrick's Day for the beginning of spring camp. So you're going to need a few more weeks to enjoy those Link Jarrett pressers, watching the baseball team, and that's fine because they're doing some good things.
Yeah, so the thing about baseball, like, look, I think it's Georgetown this weekend. I mean, I'm ready for this to be done.
Well, it's Lipscomb after that.
Okay, I'm ready for that to be done. I'm ready for that to be done. I'm ready for the ACC play.
BC.
Yeah, I'm ready for ACC play. I'm ready for some of the better matchups. But in the interim, you do like to see that they're taking care of business. I mean, Florida State through 7 games is undefeated. I believe I read this morning that there are 17 undefeated teams in baseball. We're one of them. I mean, okay, you should be given who you've played. But we all know baseball. You could have easily lost, say, a road game to USF. You could lose a game like that. Could have lost a game yesterday. But they made the plays when they had to make them. But I wanted to look and see, how well they would do to start the year in certain categories. Well, you knew they'd be good on the mound, and they have been very good on the mound. They are a top 5 pitching club in the nation. Through 7 games, they've pitched like an elite staff. I'm talking about relievers and starters. They have pitched elite. Their ERA is sub 1.4 for this season. So, yeah, they've been very, very good. Hard to lose games when you're not giving up runs. You'll find your bats along the way when you have a pitching staff that is going to be out here missing bats on the regular.
And one of those earned runs, I don't know if they went back and changed it back the other way, but young Sheffield had a rough go of it.
2 errors.
Well, they took one off the board and made it a double, and I don't see how.
I wouldn't do that.
That was, yeah. If they fix that back, then your ERA is probably where it should be, but, I guess it's a conundrum.
Help the kid or
the kid who's the son of a future Hall of Famer or,
Look, an error is an error. I've always thought it was pretty easy. I remember arguments being had back in the day when I used to do PA for baseball. This is the stuff that we would get in arguments about all the time.
It's up to the SID in
most
cases.
And they're given instruction for people that don't know. I mean, a coach can talk to the SID, and they're keeping official score up there, and say, hey, look, these are college kids. Let's not get crazy here like we're watching an MLB game in terms of expectations of plays that are supposed to be made.
Which is 100% fair. Especially the left side of the infield is the place that you would see it most about what is reasonable. If you're facing a leadoff hitter and it's on the back side, you've got to make a play on your backhand side. I don't know, man. If the throw's a little off, that's not an error. In the major leagues, 100% of the time. In college, it's a long throw.
Right. I always thought it was pretty easy. I was a pain in the ass up in the booth. I would turn at back then. Jeff was the SID, Puritan, who went on to be Nick Saban's right-hand man in Alabama. But anyhow, Puritan and I would get into these arguments all the time. And he'd be like, that's a hit. I'm like, that's not a hit. That's an error. Because I'm sitting right next to him. And then everybody would chime in. It was hilarious. But I would say it.
Yep.
And then he'd look over at me, mad. I'm like, come on, man. Oh, man, don't try to protect these kids. He just dropped the damn ball. It's an error.
For me, it was Jason Laterme and Bob Thomas for those years. And I remember once Bob just said base hit, and somebody to the left of me, I don't remember who it was on the beat, goes, oh, come on, Bob. In the middle of the game, he goes, you can come over here and have the discussion.
Right.
He's very calm about it.
He is calm. Yeah. But, that is probably the most hotly contested. When I was in the booth with Lulu for the first series, the new guy, what's the new guy's name? The baseball SID?
Charlie.
Yeah. I don't know Charlie, so we don't have that relationship yet.
Seems like a really nice guy.
I'm sure he's awesome. Myself. Yeah. But there was something called a hit that was not a hit. And they announced it into the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Eric and I are sitting there, and he goes, hit. And I was like, Come on, man. What do Eric's just shaking his head. We keep going like, this is not what we do. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it is a fine line when you're talking about college.
It's help the kid or help the ERA, help the pitcher. There's
I
two
think
sides to it.
I think you'd much rather help the pitcher. Your pitcher, if you can. Long term. That's look. And also, if a ball hops off your glove and you weren't having to dive for it.
It depends on how hot of a shot it is
Well,
for college. This is interesting. See, we would always agree because the college thing, it's not AAA, although it's climbing up to high A ball maybe. It's not the bigs, so you have to allow for a little bit more of okay, base hit. You have to allow a little bit of that energy in the room.
Maybe, a little bit, Tom. Not a ton. Hey, that's a one hopper off your glove, buddy. I'm gonna need you to pick that up. You're on college scholarship at Florida State. Pick up the baseball. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
T-Park Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Park Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Park Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Park Construction.com.
CCC 1331204.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Palmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Florida State hosting North Carolina, the Tucker Center today. The Tar Heels are the 2.5-point favorite, 155.5 the total. Jacksonville, 2.5-point home favorites at Swisher Gym against Eastern Kentucky, 149.5 the total. Florida Gulf Coast at home at North Florida at Alico Arena. The Eagles, 6.5-point favorites, 160.5 the total. Stetson laying 1.5 at home at Bellarmine. It's Florida A&M, 1.5 road favorite at Alabama A&M. 148.5 the total at Event Center. Braves today plus 110 against the Orioles in Grapefruit League play. Baltimore, the minus 130 money line favorite. $250 bonus and you open up a GBank Visa signature card. Visa.com/GBank. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
If you've been waiting to hear Macy's winter clearance, now's the time. Get everything you've been eyeing all season long at prices that are worth the wait. How good? Think 40 to 70% off coats, sweaters, boots, and more. Plus, come in and get an extra 20% off all your clearance purchases. That's up to 75% off. So if you've been waiting to treat yourself to something cute and cozy, hurry into Macy's tomorrow because you're not the only one ready to score amazing winter deals. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Hey, not to be dramatic, but you should smell this. It smells so good.
Whoa, that's quite the reaction to mixing and matching Gain scents. Let's hear another from Ashley, who mixed Gain products and went,
I'm so excited.
yes, you are. What about you, Isaiah?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and Emily summed it up like so.
It's just chef's kiss.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Gather around Tallahassee. It's time to fire up the grill and make some unforgettable family memories, courtesy of Hearth and Patio. Whether it's juicy steaks, succulent burgers, or those special family recipe ribs, they've got the grills that will make your backyard the hottest spot in town. From gas to charcoal, they have the perfect grill for every meat lover's dream. Call Hearth and Patio today, where the quality of your cookout is their passion. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Much appreciate you joining. Hope you had a good weekend. Not a ton that went on, but I will tell you the sounds of spring training baseball in the background at the Cameron household made for enjoyable walks about the house. I had it on, buddy.
MLB TV now has a ton of spring training games, and
one after the other.
Yeah.
Your Mets are tied with the Cardinals right now, 3-3 in the fourth.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I did watch the all-important at bat, if there is such a thing.
Soto's home run?
Training. Yeah, I laughed. What are you going to do? That's cool.
Well,
cool.
I'll tell you what's funny. I found something out watching my favorite team that I didn't know, which is weird because I read the offseason reports. Florida State's own DJ Stewart is now a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Is that where he went?
And he doubled and homered yesterday.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. Now, it's a non-roster invitee. He's got to make the team. So it was good to see him hit a double and a home run, and I'm rooting like hell for him. Obviously, I'm biased, both as a Pirate fan and a Knoll, but good for you, DJ. Let's keep it up. I'd love for him to make the team. As a DH, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I had a frustrating moment. There's a company called Sports World Chicago that makes, and this is not an endorsement, trust me, that makes jerseys for all types of obscure players. So you can get reasonably priced.
Yeah, that's the key.
Authentic jerseys, though, and their games, they're MLB issued, whatever. And I had this DJ one, and they kept on delaying it and delaying it and delaying it.
And then he's no longer a Met.
3 months later, they said, sorry, we can't do the order. You sons of guns. But I really wanted it because it's a Knoll who's a Met. There aren't very many of them. Paul Wilson was, Doug Mankiewicz was, but you don't get that chance very often. And in fact, one game I went to last year, he hit the game-deciding home run in the 8th inning, which was so cool. He will get on hot streaks, and he'll ops 850 for you over the course of 6 weeks. Like, he'll do that. So here's hoping that he makes your team out of camp because the right field is doable in your ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah, can he run?
No.
Not really at all?
No. No, a double will be a double, but a double will not be a triple.
Well, that's, yeah. We've got a right fielder. I mean, Brian Reynolds just moved to right. He's not going to.
I'm just saying hit.
Yeah, okay.
From the,
the
power stroke from the left side.
Well, he went yard in his first AB for the Pirates yesterday, so that was good. I was like, all right, let's go, big man, make the team. Recall him being obviously very, very good here. And, I root for that too because there aren't many Knolls that are Pirates. So, all right, buddy, come on.
He was good enough that pitchers adjusted to him. That's how good he was because he finished 2 seasons ago. His ops was through the roof, but then high fastball. So that's the thing you're going to be watching for is the major league high fastball. Can you lay off?
It's so fun. We were talking the last hour about the start that the Knolls are off to and how well some of the young guys are playing or not. And you're kind of gauging to see how they adjust. I love watching guys have to adjust, from high school to college or from college to pro. At every level, it's just fun to watch. It can get frustrating when you see somebody is really struggling to do so. You wonder, will they ever fix that hole in their swing? Do they have the possibility that this could get better? Or is this going to be a problem year round? What do we got here? And, there's some kids on this team that I absolutely love and think are going to be stars at some point, which is exciting to see. You had a weekend where there's a good day, bad day for one of your young guys. And so you see the promise and then the adjustment to that. So Florida State baseball so far, having done what they're supposed to do, don't get really tested much. You get the Jacksonville game tomorrow on the road. I mentioned it last hour, Florida State basketball tonight against North Carolina. Drives me nuts to look at the AP's top 25 and see Florida at number 3. Credit to them. I've talked about this being the SEC Invitational once we get into the March Madness stage of all of this. But
what isn't?
Well, but that's where the money comes into play. This is where you begin to see it. If you didn't know, it's Auburn, Florida, both 2 of the top 3 ranked teams in the country. Now, Duke is number 2, but Tennessee's 5th. Alabama is 6th. Go on and on. A&M is in the top 25. Missouri's in the top 25. Kentucky's in the top 25. On and on and on and on.
Would have preferred to at least split with an SEC team in softball over the weekend. I did watch the entirety of game 1.
The ass kicking?
No, that was game 2.
Oh, I watched game 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, game 1 went to extras. We left a ton on base in the first handful of innings and never broke through beyond the 3-run rally that we put together. Got one of our runners got hosed at the plate by 3 steps. And then the ump got really stubborn and started squeezing our pitchers, and that ain't sour grapes because you need to score runs. But my God, the ump show it's a giant ball. What the hell are we doing here, sir? Pick up your damn right arm and call a freaking strike.
It's
Indignance from
weird to
umpires.
me.
Why?
I don't get that either, but I will tell you, it seems to me, now I've never umpired before, and I'm always quick to point that out. It's easy for me to say that it seems like you shouldn't miss that many calls, but man, in college baseball and softball, you see, a whole lot of missed. And softball, I will tell you, I don't know how. Big, bright yellow. I mean, like, come on, man.
I'm telling you, man. And that A&M team was akin to those Yankees and Red Sox teams in the early 2000s when they helped change the game with patience at the plate. And remember, those games went 4 hours when every other game would go 3.
Right.
Because they never swung. And A&M never swung the bat. And this guy's arm must weigh 500 pounds because he won't lift it to call a strike. And it's over the middle of the plate. Hurtful. So they lost 6-3 in 8 innings. That was a toughie.
And then turned around and got pasted.
Oh, yeah. Half an hour later.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't pretend to tell you that I have any expertise on our softball team and what they will be as the season goes on. I do tune in because they are enjoyable to watch. And I've talked about this a lot, that sport has gotten probably better than any other sport in my lifetime of being on the air, has improved the most. Just as sports go, that's a sport where you're like, man, I never saw a day where it would be this athletic, and it is now.
Where you could say you felt a little snake bit in this first game that you lost in extra innings because you hit it to the warning track 4 times.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that back in the day.
No, because I would not have watched it.
Well, but the point being the warning track part of it is what I was going for.
Yeah, I was going for that because I could not have watched it. But this time around, I could be like, yes, I saw that too, Tom, which is, for me, I'm coming a long way with this thing, just like the sport has. Speaking of, this is the week, as I said, of the combine, and I should make mention that I knew it was going to happen, and it has happened. One of the teams in the NFL, and apparently there are others that are willing to join the Washington Commanders as well as the Green Bay Packers now, saying, we going to do anything about this stupid-ass tush-push, everybody? We're gonna start enforcing the rules that used to be in place, which is that you cannot aid the runner. We go all the way back to the Reggie Bush play with USC against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that's the same rule that we have to talk about. And also, oftentimes it sure looks like an illegal formation. So like there's just a lot there. I was wondering if it's not good for the game. So good. Let's see if more people we're not playing rugby out here.
No, just call a quarterback sneak with your backup tight end. That's what's in vogue now. Saw that with Mark Andrews this year with Baltimore. Just do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the quarterback sneak.
Mocks are out, of which there are plenty. I mentioned our Knowles, 3 of which will be at the combine this week. As of right now, not consensus, and this is the best part about this draft. Like, if you want a consensus pick about the upcoming draft, it would be probably Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter would be a guy, we all remember him, the edge guy from Penn State, who was one-arming dudes into the backfield despite playing hurt the whole time. He is a guy that almost universally the mocks have in the top 3. So, that would be Cleveland at number 2, probably having to replace Myles Garrett, would go that route and take him. They have the second pick in the draft. Problem they have, too, is they also need a quarterback. Kind of sucks to be a Cleveland fan right about now. You're kind of,
for the first time in a long time.
You're just kind of stuck in a situation, right? Like, what do we do here? But Cam Ward to the Tennessee Titans seems to be a popular projection at this point. A lot of people have soured, obviously, on this. I for one, if you're a Jacksonville fan listening to this, got a top 5 pick. It seems to me this is a no-brainer. That's Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. That's who you should pick. That's who I would pick. That's what I wish the Bucs could pick. He's a stud. If you're drafting that high, you need a guy that instantly comes in and has an impact. That's why offensive and defensive line, you and I are always in agreement on this. Like, if you're unsure, I don't know. I mean, do I want Travis Hunter? Do I want Cam Ward? Do I want Shedeur Sanders? Who's going to be good? Well, the Will Campbell kid from LSU on the offensive line, going to be good.
Well, that's, yes.
Mason Graham, he's going to be good.
It could be somebody I don't recognize their name on draft night whenever we have our draft party. With the 20 whatever pick, Ryan Youngblood Smith III. And I'm not even listening to that. I'm just waiting for the next thing. Offensive tackle,
You're like, yes,
Utah.
yes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, tackle, all right.
So Josh Connerly, the offensive tackle from Oregon. If the Bucks take Josh Connerly, you're going to go, all right, we got Connerly. You won't even.
Connerly or Connolly?
Connerly.
Yeah, okay. If it was Connolly, I'd be like, what?
Connerly.
Connolly left tackle?
There's a Gray Zabel, the North Dakota State kid, as an offensive tackle. We don't need a tackle.
Could always use one.
We need an edge. And the Bucks are projected to get the edge, Shamar Stewart. That's the kid from Texas A&M.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, we did. And that's because Tryon's going to be a free agent. He sucks. So we got to get hit and tell him to have a good one. Didn't work out. Swing and miss. Everybody does. It happens.
Shamar Stewart, we were in on him recruiting-wise, I think. Because that name sounds familiar. Usually if the name sounds familiar and they played an SEC school, I think, oh, yeah. They probably were committed to us or had us in their final 2 or final 3.
Well, there's a stretch there where seemingly every 4 or 5-star defensive stud went to Texas A&M, and that's why people pushed back on Jimbo's struggles. It's like, hey, man, we hired you because you've won a national championship. We hired you because you're a really good recruiter, or you at one time were a really good recruiter until you started whiffing on quarterback at Florida State. But anyhow, you were really, really good, and you proved to be very good right out the gates here at Texas A&M. Why don't we win more? We've got a lot of really good players. We're not winning more. This is frustrating. Our people aren't swaying back and forth as much as they'd like to. And, we're paying you a lot. It's not happening. So every time since that, basically his final season, that Texas A&M has had a guy projected in the NFL draft, I've gone, I bet he's good. He's probably really good. They didn't win anything while he was there, but I'm sure he's good.
Probably 20 pounds heavier than you think he should be at his position.
Well, they were all 5-star kids. It was like one after the other.
Their trenches were unreal. Unreal.
So, yes, that's the safe thing. But again, it's a defensive draft. I think that this is, if you need a corner, you need a safety, you need an edge rusher, a defensive tackle, you're setting this draft. You've got a lot of guys there that you can afford to go defense with your picks. Like you can go back to back to back if you need to. There's going to be enough depth there. I hope Tampa does that. Like I said, Jacksonville, Miami.
Ooh.
You're going to go safety, I think. And you'll take that Starks kid out of Georgia, who is a plug-and-play day one stud.
Where are they picking? 12?
12, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
I got to double-check.
Sounds about right.
Let's see here. I had their pick. Yeah.
Oh, man, you're on it this year with the draft.
13. Dude, I'm obsessed. I love this stuff anyhow. Now, I've learned to balance it with I know we're going to get some things wrong. We're going to get some things right and everything in between. But they do a good job. I'm not talking about the mocks, but they do a good job, the NFL does, of just slowly feeding you enough information to make this, like you said, they own the offseason. And with Florida State basketball being so bad, and, look, it's been a minute. We got to get to spring football for Florida State.
Yeah, it'll eventually happen.
And at the situation with Florida State baseball is I'm locked in and ready to go, and I love Major League Baseball too, and I'm happy that that's back. But there's not a lot you can talk about in spring training, unless there's an injury or something like that. We had the larger discussion about baseball, which divorced ESPN, not the other way around. Major League Baseball's opting out of that deal. That is the better deal for Major League Baseball. They're going to get more money than they were getting from ESPN, and they'll get better in terms of the quality of production that they're going to get with whoever they sign with. They were making $550 million a year from ESPN. That's chump change compared to what they're going to get. And you think about the summer and the need for program. What the hell is ESPN going to do? They're in the midst of trying to roll out this pay model where
direct to consumer.
Direct to consumer, you got to pay whatever it is, $9 a month is what they're going to go for. They're in fewer homes than they've been in forever. I mean, we're down from 90 million, whatever it is, to 60 million. Yeah, they are way down in terms of homes that they're in. And now you got to pay to get it coming up soon. They're going to try to release that over the summer. Well, what are they going to show on it?
I don't know, but I do know that they've got $500 million now that they can give to Florida State. There you go.
I don't think they're running to do that.
Just cut us that $550. Just move it from one place to the other.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. But anyhow, so yeah, I am diving in to maybe not the mocks per se, but the position groups. Like it's easy to do too because you start with Josh Farmer. Like I knew Azareye'h Thomas was going to do good things at the Senior Bowl. He did. Farmer did too. And Farmer's a guy I know a lot of our fan base because of the first game really lumped him and Darryl and everybody.
He played well the first game.
But I know it just didn't look like it, Tom, because they kind of got whatever they wanted, especially with the quarterback running around. And all the eye candy left them kind of in neutral in some cases. But if you go back and watch, and I said this to you week 2, week 3, week 4, I thought, well, week 2, he didn't play well. But week 3, he did. And from that point forward, really, he played consistently well. Josh gets a lot of vitriol from this fan base because he was at times petulant. He could be difficult. He and Darryl both were difficult at one time.
And Peyton.
I don't even want to talk about that. Peyton, he can go to hell. But the rest of that stuff, it kind of bled into the commentary surrounding him. And it seemed to have a carryover effect where because he played so bad against Boston College, and he did, but because he did and we had already lost to Georgia Tech, this thought was, well, they're not trying very hard. And I don't think that turned out to be true. All the rest of the tape from the rest of the year shows that Josh played consistently well. Yeah. He didn't always have a partner in crime, but he played consistently well. And Darryl turned it around the last 4 or 5 games of the year.
Darryl wasn't in football shape. It didn't appear in retrospect now. Not in the moment, just in retrospect. You're saying, well, how is it that he got consistently better? And Adam Fuller was upfront about that. He didn't think that he was in football shape. Well, could have worked him harder in practice, number one. Number two, that Georgia Tech game, the best drives that the defense had was when the second group was on the defensive front.
Right.
Except for Josh Farmer was the anchor in the middle. He helped make that go. Lyons made a couple of plays.
Mm-hmm.
Lola Haya made a couple of plays. Hell, even Lundy on the second drive of the game made a play in the backfield. Well, Farmer is anchoring the hell out of that line. You want to talk about BC? Okay, I got you. But Georgia Tech game, he was at least ready on time. Many weren't, and I think that's going to help him because the scouts were there to see him in preseason camp.
Yeah.
They were there for Farmer. They were there for Jackson.
Well, he's got extreme strength. He's a very, very strong kid to go along with that size. And Josh is going to get drafted, I think, late second, no worse than early third. He's going to do well. We're going to have 2-3 guys. I mean, 2 for sure. Fitzy could get drafted in the 7th round or something like that as a kicker. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, those 2 are going to get drafted pretty high. I think both certainly within the first 3 rounds. But what my point is, when I start going down that path, I start looking at defensive tackles. I'm like, well, who's ahead of him? And then you start looking at the names, many of whom you remember. I mean, you saw certain guys, like if I go just to defensive tackle, Walter Nolan, who's the kid from Ole Miss, you saw him play. You're like, oh yeah, I remember him. And then you start stockpiling guys and you're like, man, there's like 9 defensive tackles that are in front of him, and they're all going to get drafted high. I was like, this is a really deep defensive tackle draft, really deep edge rusher draft, really deep linebacker draft, really deep secondary draft. It is just a ton of defense. And so Dolphins, who draft 13th, by the way, I looked it up while we were talking, they might have a shot at a plug-and-play safety. The Starks kid's a stud for Georgia, so it'd be a good pick.
It's interesting because it feels like defense is starting to win the day a little bit more in the NFL. In the sport in general, it's starting to come back to earth a little bit. When you have an influx of talent that's not at the quarterback level, skill position maybe here or there, but it's at the defensive level, the NFL is about to get harder again. These numbers, you're talking about how unders were in play a bunch this year.
Yeah.
Certainly in the postseason. The way offense is being played, which is to run the ball more.
It's always the pushback. It's always the counter.
NFL now 27-21 is a high-scoring game. I think we're heading in that place where the NFL average score is not going to be 35-31 anymore, 35-28. Probably going to live in the 20s.
Well, they always run fewer plays, and then the pushback to the wide-open spread, play with tempo, throw it around the lot 40, 50 times a game is to counter that with physicality. It's to run the ball and keep your offense off the field. If I'm worried about you spreading me out, and the rules are in your favor, and it's been very difficult to get stops over the last several years, then I'm going to counter it by finding those freaks on the opposite side that can fill a dual role, and I'm going to bludgeon you in the run game. And your offense is not going to be on the field because I'm going to run it. And we already play a game, the NFL that is, where 53 plays is kind of the norm, as opposed to college, where you have a lot more plays run. And even that's beginning to change a little bit in college as well. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. It's fun. It's kind of a fun deal to think about. By the way, if you are an advertiser with the Jeff Cameron Show, tried and true, would love to help you out right now. You'll get a free ad board. If you're one of my advertisers, make sure you reach out to Tried and True. They'll set you up with an ad board so that you can showcase your wares, what it is you do, your expertise. And that'll, in turn, make you some money, man. They'll place these ad boards in and around town. Several businesses have already signed up for it. We've got a new one inquiring about it over the weekend, which is really, really cool. Reach out to Don today. That number, 844-464-6653. Of course, they give 10%. They're both FSU alumni, Don and Joe are, and they give 10% of their earnings back to the Battles Inn, trying to support Florida State athletics. Give them a call today to learn more, 844-464-6653.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix.
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues now with our good buddy Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com. Joins us every Monday. Always appreciate that. Ira, how are you, brother? I can't hear Ira. Is he there? Is he there? What has happened?
Phone disconnected. That's a new one.
Damn it, man. I had a grand intro and everything. We'll do that again. I do want to talk.
That was an elite setup.
Yeah. Man. Served it up. There was a lot of energy. I think he was probably raring to go with that intro.
You hardly ever see the phone light just gone and off. I don't know if that's ever happened. I'm going to patch him through right now.
Is it his fault or your fault? Was it our fault or Ira's fault?
I'm going to go with act of God or Ira's, but not mine.
Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com. We'll try it again. Hello, Ira. How the hell are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, I appreciated the Daryl and Mandrell Desir story there. You know what? I knew nothing about those two kids, and now I do, thanks to you.
Right? Yeah, it's the newcomer interviews give us a chance to kind of talk about some of these guys who are not, the highest regarded prospects. Obviously Usman Kroma, Javon Boggs, and those guys who are the higher rated recruits. We all kind of pay attention to them. The Desir twins came in kind of late. They were committed to UCF for a long time. Mike Norvell actually was all sneaky. He went in and sneaky got them away from UCF, and then he hired Gus Malzahn. It all worked out.
Well, I did see one's a 4-star, one's a 3, and they're twins. Does the one hold it over the other?
He should. I would. But no. And what's funny is they when you talk to them, I think Mandrell, who's the one that's the 3-star, seems to have a little bit more personality. People can watch both of the videos on the site. Daryl Desir, who's the 4-star, a little bit more serious, a little bit more to the point. Didn't seem to really love talking to the media as much. But we'll see what they can do. Listen, man, they that position is one where if a guy, and they both got the size. I think they're 6'4", 6'5", 250. Maybe they get on the field as freshmen. They definitely want to get on the field as freshmen, and Florida State might have opportunities for them.
Real question is whether or not you sat down over the weekend and saw my Pirates bludgeon the Orioles in the first spring training game of the year. Did you catch that one?
I heard about it. Our friend Tim Linnefeld, who's also a Pirates fan, he notified me, but I did not watch it.
You never thought you'd grow up to be around two Pirates fans that you would call friends. That's funny.
In Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee. Yes, we saw the baseball team dominate over the weekend, as they should. Anything stand out to you?
The only game I was there in person for was Sunday. I had some other stuff going on this weekend, but so I've seen Mendez pitch twice now. Wes Mendez.
I like him a lot. I think he's good, Ira. He's fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looked very good, and I don't feel like I need to see Jamie Arnold right now.
Nope.
Some of the teams they're playing, but no, I think it's good, and the defense is fun to watch. I mean, they do have a bunch of guys that can go get it. It's nice to, feel like routine ground balls are going to be routine ground balls and routine double plays. Not funny today. I was thinking earlier about when you just don't have that defense you can count on. Thinking about our guy Delmonico back in the day, Jeff. You were not a big fan of.
No.
It's just nice to have these guys that you just feel very confident when the plays are going to be made, and so far they have all been made.
Yeah, and they got a little bit of a test at the game you were at, 5-3. They had to, there's some crucial moments there where they get a double play. They had a couple of big situations that they got out of because of that defense. You're right, by the way. You had to ruin my day by bringing up Delmonico.
The thing Sunday probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. They had a few really hard hit balls just at people. They've had a couple guys that have been pretty unlucky so far this season. And then on top of that, there were some opportunities to blow it open, and they chased some stuff, trying to, got a little aggressive at the plate. But overall, yeah, I don't mind seeing a closer game just to, see how guys come in leverage situations. Ben Barrett, I thought, was really effective when he came in there late, and that's good to see.
Throwing harder than he did a year ago, that's for sure. So it's good to see health return for Ben Barrett. Ordinarily, I'd be excited to ask you about a big Monday game featuring Florida State, North Carolina. Of course, I'm not. I know you'll be there covering it for Warchant, which I appreciate. But it does kind of allow me to use the platform to ask you any updates on how far along we are in the coaching search, because this is the time of year. And again, we all know the situation, and I love Leonard Hamilton. It's a shame, but this is over. And now my attention is turned to trying to prevent these wasted years. We're approaching March Madness. Other fan bases will get excited about the tournament. We don't have at least not in men's basketball, we don't have the good fortune to do that. Where are we at? We hearing anything else? What's the overall timeline, as you know it, for hiring the next coach?
Yeah, they've already started the process. They have a kind of a group of people that helping Michael Alford with the process, and I know they've already spoken to several candidates, including the ones we know about.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows about Luke Laux and C.Y. Charlton Young, and they've talked to some other ones as well. In fact, I believe the guy that Miami's hiring, John Lucas's son, who's an assistant at Duke, I believe Florida State kind of tested the feelers out there as well. So it's a pretty wide net that they're looking at. I think it's a combination of there are the guys with FSU ties, and there are assistant coaches at high level schools, and then there are some mid-major head coaches that they're talking to as well. So I think the timeline is I think they're doing a lot of the legwork right now, and then maybe as soon as the ACC run is over for Florida State, assuming Florida State doesn't have a long run in the ACC tournament, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised to see an announcement maybe during the ACC tournament. I do not think they'll announce it before the last game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they announce it right after. And I think that they're trying to get their ducks in a row to act quickly while a lot of other teams are still playing.
Any plans for that last game in terms of honoring Leonard? Do you know of anything that they're going to be doing?
Well, they're doing a big thing here for the last home game against SMU.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the last game of the ACC tournament will be neat because he is a Gastonia, North Carolina native. The ACC tournament is back in North Carolina this year. It's been traveling around up in the Northeast, but they will be in North Carolina this year, which I think will be really nice for him. And I think the ACC will do a really nice, a way to salute him there. But it's always tricky with those things because if they win the first game, then you don't know is the next one going to be the last one,
right?
Or can they make a run? But I do think if it does end in North Carolina, I kind of think that'll be fitting.
Brother, always appreciate it. Have fun tonight. Talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
Yep, take care. That's Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com. We will join forces tomorrow for Seminole headlines, and there will be a smash that is moved up tonight by about an hour so that Ira can get over there to cover this basketball game against North Carolina.
Yeah, that is correct. It'll be recorded. I'm actually recording with Ira as soon as we're done today to give him time to get over to that's the last big Monday of Leonard's career here at Florida State. There's been a lot of really important ones that live up to the hype, ones that live up to the hope, where Florida State wins on a big Monday.
Yeah.
Just saying that out loud actually hurts a little bit to hear. But what also hurt was he had to go to Delmonico because that's my era.
Oh, buddy.
I
was at the College World Series, and he ended up making a crucial error. And I was in the booth with Tom Block and Eric Llewellyn, and I threw a chair. Now, not like you think.
Okay.
I stood up and flipped the bottom of the chair. It was a stool.
Okay.
And it was an anger stand-up moment because I knew he was going to cost us a game. And I said it all year long on the air. And then he did.
Well, due respect, that wasn't hard to predict because I mean,
I didn't throw the stool. I flipped it.
Yeah, when you said that, immediately everybody thinks two hands over the head.
No, nothing like that. No. I knew it was coming. I just knew it. It was in a crucial moment. I was like, yeah.
Well, there was one in a crucial moment in the regional.
Yeah.
And we got past it, as I recall. Or was it the Supers against Wichita? It was one of them. That was
it's a toughie.
Yeah, man. We are in alignment on this one.
Yep. A little frustration. But let's bring it back home. This is a desperate North Carolina team tonight coming in here. They cannot afford a loss to Florida State. Their current net ranking is 45 based on their strength of schedule. But you lose a quad 2 road loss here to FSU at the TLC CCC, they'd be in trouble. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm sad. I'm just sad that it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it does in that we're in the countdown to the last games that Leonard will coach here. And I'm ready to move on. I've accepted that. I think most fans are ready to move on. This program has not been playing good basketball for several years now. There's no getting around that. I just wished it had been different for Leonard if he could have parlayed that incredible build to where we were likely to make the Final Four as a 2 seed. We were going to make a run over that. We were going to play these first-round games the COVID year in Florida. We would have been in really good shape. There was a loaded team. Who knows where this would have gone had that played out? That's the problem. You don't know what that would have become.
Correct, because even in NIL, you probably have investment coming off of a Final Four run or, God forbid, a national championship run.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
You would have been able to parlay that into something so much more, but it didn't happen. And
it's 5 years later.
And it didn't happen, and then NIL did. And all of a sudden you went, the rug has been pulled out from under, and he's not going to know how to navigate this, and he doesn't really have anybody, and there's not a huge investment in the sport, and not here. And so you're thinking that was the window. Oh, what could have been? The window that was. It was the, it's Dick Vitale writing the book about the tournament that never happened, saying Florida State would have won it. We were all left to just dream and hope and think about what that could have looked like, but what it would have done tangibly, the material difference that would have made for this Florida State program had they just lived up to the kind of team they were that year. So we had real evidence of what they were.
Yeah, you're getting out of Tampa, and then you probably have a tough game in your Elite Eight game. You probably cruise through the Sweet 16 round, and then your Elite Eight game is it.
Then you're right on the cusp of making that happen. And there's no question that kind of energy coming off a season like that, even if you aren't sure of how to navigate the NIL at that time, you'll have kids wanting to be here.
And in addition to Scotty Barnes, who was here after it all happened.
So that makes me sad, but I am ready to hear the announcement. I am excited about that. I want to know what direction they're going. I want to talk to people about how that's going to look, because it's not okay for Florida State in perpetuity while they're figuring out football to suck at basketball. That's not how big boy athletic departments work. Get it together. We got baseball working out now just fine. Let's go. Get it together. You can't just because we're all worried about football, you don't have to suck in the other big sports. And we're going to need that revenue. I mean, you need to be good at basketball. You need to make the NCAA tournament. We're talking about the incentivized stuff that the ACC wants to do. You're going to care deeply again about basketball. It's not the breadwinner the football is, but it is a moneymaker if you don't suck. So there's that.
It's nice to be reminded on a Monday in a slow time of the year that we're in the ACC. It's a good feeling. It's nice. Success initiatives, man.
That was never going to go away.
Brand initiatives.
When are we going to get when's that going to get vetted? When are we going to find out what that looks like?
Oh, maybe in July. Might have it then.
T-Spark not only does commercial and residential roofing, but also helps with home remodeling, does additions and businesses that need updates or build outs. They do that too. You can go to their website for all the construction services that they provide. It's a company that takes safety very seriously. Every Monday, he and his staff go through the training and education to make sure that they do the job right. Nobody gets hurt. And listen, I put my roof on. Still looking good. Still looking good. All these many years later since I had that done when we first got on board.
It's a lot of storms later, too.
It is a lot of storms later, and my roof looks fantastic. License number CGC 1525336, CCC 1331204.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee.
Stop fighting the algorithm. You know you can't get enough Florida State filling your feed. Well, there's no better way to keep up with FSU on YouTube than with members-only level Warchant. It's going to get you bigger, faster, and stronger. How? Bigger.
It's hour number 2.
Join now for exclusive access to a bonus segment of the legendary Seminole headlines.
Faster.
Get debut access days in advance of the public release of the latest episode of X's and O's with Dominic Robinson, a look at the All-22 film. Stronger! Utilize the Member Milestone Chat, a new feature which allows your comment to be highlighted in live chats during Warchant.com shows for maximum visibility. All of this in addition to members-only flair like badges, emojis, and polls to drive the conversation of the home of the Ultimate Seminoles sports source on YouTube. Give it a try. Cancel it anytime. No commitments, no phone calls, no emails. Just a few clicks within your YouTube account. Warchant.com, members only YouTube. The next level in FSU coverage on YouTube.
Skies, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 50 tonight, partly cloudy skies with fog in spots. Daytime highs approaching 73 with fog in spots. Early tomorrow, ample sunshine expected. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 56.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's PBR Tallahassee at Donald L. Tucker Civic Center, March 14th and 15th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So, like, different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families.
So there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
There was a question in the chat I want to circle back and get to. Our thanks to Ira Schoffel for joining us, as he's wont to do on Mondays. Trailer Swift asked, you all have said that Mike is an underdog when it comes to can he fix this? How do you all feel after this press tour? Trailer goes on to say, personally, I like the hires and I'm excited to see what they do, but I feel like my faith in Mike fixing things long-term has diminished. But Trailer, I would like to expand on this because I'd like to know what it was that you saw from him, because you say you're excited about the hires, and obviously Mike made those hires. And, but then you lost faith in him. And is that demeanor? Is that something about the way that he, the facial expressions? Was it something that did he seem, I don't know, meek?
I think, what he's implying there is it has everything to do with the presentation itself. It is nothing. The hires are good, but somehow the booster tour stuff has made him worried that Mike is operating from a place of, I don't know. I'm putting words in Trailer's mouth now, but lack of confidence, shakenness, unsteadiness.
Well, I said to you when we were in a commercial break, you and I were just chit-chatting, and I said to you that, Mike, let me lend some context to this. I thought at the end of last year, Mike looked broken. He looked like a broken coach, and I don't know how you couldn't be. You went 2-10. You had the worst offense in the country. You're an offensive mind. I mean, you're known as being an offensive mind. You call the plays. It's your offense, and it was the worst in the country. If any of you out there, any of us had failed so spectacularly to be the worst at something, I don't know how it wouldn't shake you to your core. and it would make you second guess everything you believed in as far as, the way you run an offense, everything about your offense, just every facet of your offense, you would begin to question. Now, you would also, I think, would want to deep dive and figure out exactly which elements led to further problems, because obviously it's not everything. There's one big problem which leads to other problems and creeps into other areas of your team, and collectively that comes together to put a pall over the entire season, and you get results that are kind of, you hope, outliers. That this is the byproduct of this glaring mistake that I made, but it's not that I don't know anything. Clearly, it's just that I made this big mistake surrounding the most important position, or if you want to say overestimating an offensive line, or you want to say having trusting a certain staff member implicitly, whatever it would be that you realized afterwards, oh, I screwed this up. Now, I don't think there's any question he knew within 2 games that they were effed. And now you're in season. You can't undo the mistakes that you've made. Now, you can do some things along the way to help mitigate the problem, and I felt like he didn't do a good job of that. But if you made a fundamental error in assessing your team and what you thought they needed to continue the success that you had the previous season, if you blew that decision, you blew that assessment, well, once the season started and you got exposed, there's really not a lot you can do. You can offset it by changing kind of the way you call plays and what kind of offense you're trying to run and where you put the emphasis, but you were still going to have a bad year. I'm hoping that this leads to a much more meticulous Mike. This leads to one who would, because you always self-scout. And I think if you self-scouted and screwed it up that badly, you then probably will continue the process of self-scouting, but you'll dive deeper. You'll look at every facet, as he said he was going to do, but you'll invite others whom you respect to weigh in and have an awful lot of say in what happens this upcoming year at the very least, because I don't know how you wouldn't want that. You would invite that in. Like if I got myself into a pickle and I needed to surround myself with people who I knew, I trusted, whose judgment and skills I respected, who I knew had my best interest in mind as well, well then, I would hunker in. I'd hunker down and say, okay, these are 4 guys I can really count on, and I can kind of fall on the sword here and say, hey, I made some mistakes. I want you guys to look at this. I need some more eyes to look at this situation, because clearly I was so immersed in such a way that I didn't see what I needed to see. What are you guys seeing? What stands out to you about what happened to us last year? But see, to me, that would embolden me that I had, because to me, going out and making the hires that he did, clearly he felt very comfortable. He was very excited about Gus Malzahn. I'm very excited about Tony White. And I think that was universally hailed as a good hire defensively. I think in the industry, if you talk to people who don't have any connections to Florida State whatsoever, and I do, when you talk to those people, they perked up when he hired Tony White. Not as much with Gus. That's debatable. The Gus hire is kind of seen so far, the people I talk to outside the program, 50-50. Some say, yeah, I get it. I like the hire. I understand it. Others are like, I wouldn't have gone that route. That's fine. That's a debate. Different show, different topic, different time. I've yet to hear somebody say, no, I don't know what he was doing with Tony White. No, almost everybody that I know in the industry went, that's a good hire. That's a guy who's ascending. That's a guy who can change your personality, who you are as a defense, your mentality, the way you operate, the way you're perceived. That'll change the way recruits on that side of the ball see you. This could be a program-changing hire. That was pretty much universal. So to me, if you go out and do that and you get some guys that are on the rise, then you'd feel a lot better about your chances of getting this turned around. I just thought at the end of last year, with as broken as he looked, I never want to see that again. I never need to see the guy that's in charge of your program that is paid over $10 million a year to look like he'd seen a ghost. You're going to lose some games along the way. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have a game where you wish you could have done some things differently. But if you're confident and you've got the program being built in the right way, you take that in stride, you learn from it, you move on. You don't look like a guy who's uncertain of himself. You just look like a guy who's a little pissed off that he made a couple of mistakes. There's a big difference.
Well, and he admitted as much. That's the thing is he's gone on record on this tour saying that his body language was poor, and he knows that, and that's something that he wants to change. So not only did he look like he was broken, he's admitting to you that he was, and he was letting the world know about it, which he doesn't ever want to do again. So it would be like a poker player saying, well, I played it poorly, but I also telegraphed what I was. Everybody at the table knew what was going on inside my head. Everybody in the table knew what was going on inside my heart. And that can't happen. There has to be a bit of a separator. And we gave him credit for that when he first took over at Florida State, and there was a mess on his hands. The Louisville road game was him looking angry, not distraught, but thinking about things at the 100,000-foot view, the satellite view, where he's saying to himself, I got a lot of cleaning up to do. I ain't going to change what's happening here before me today. But that was very commanding, that look on the sideline. It was, all right.
Yeah, we're stuck until I can,
We're stuck.
Yeah.
Get me while you can on the other sideline because we're going to fix this.
Right.
We felt emboldened by that. What happened last year was the exact opposite. It was, you're only down 7-0 in game 2.
Why
Get
are you
it together?
Yeah. Stop looking like you're about to cry.
Right.
But one thing we all learned, I think, and that is, everybody's touchy when things aren't going well for your school, and everybody has an opinion when things are going that poorly, certainly, and that's fine. I learned certainly early on amongst Florida State fans in the midst of that collapse, man, it's okay to be very angry and very critical about what that was. And I've got no ill will towards the people that are like, look, man, maybe Mike gets it turned around. As long as you're a reasonable person and it doesn't become, ad hominem. If you're going to just basically say, look, man, I don't know that I can trust a guy that could ever go 2-10. Okay, fair enough. That's an absolutely fair criticism. We may disagree, but I got you. He did go 2-10. It happened. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
Save big on our remaining 2024s. Our last 4 2024 Titan pickup trucks are all $10,000 off, and you get 0% interest for 60 months. Our last 3 remaining Nissan Frontiers are $6,000 off. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing, NMLR 373031.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
July 9, 1755, near Fort Duquesne, now the city of Pittsburgh, a 23-year-old British officer leads his troops in battle during the French and Indian War. Though fired upon repeatedly, this young lieutenant colonel remains unharmed. 15 years later, a respected chief sat over a council fire with this same man. As he told all those listening, the Great Spirit protects this man and guides his destiny. He will become the chief of nations, and a people yet unborn will hail him as the founder of a mighty empire. The man was George Washington, who went on to become the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army and the first president of the United States.
Celebrating our nation's quest for freedom and honoring all those who serve, our military, law enforcement, and first responders. Hidden glass on South Monroe. For mirrors, shower enclosures, and window glass, call 222-5781. And Sellers Tile on Capitol Circle Northeast for tile, carpet, hardwood, and luxury vinyl. Call 656-8453.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
WBFT Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
College baseball, Florida State will play Jacksonville Tuesday. The Noles are 7-0 on the year. They swept Penn over the weekend, winning Sunday in Tallahassee 5-3. They've only allowed 12 runs in the first 7 games of the season while scoring 69. Florida will face Stetson on Tuesday. The Gators are 7-0. Beat Dayton Sunday 12-2 to complete the 3-game sweep. They've scored double-digit runs in 6 straight games. College basketball, Florida State home in Tallahassee tonight. They'll take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Noles at 7-9 in the ACC, 16-11 overall. They're coming off a loss to number 25 Louisville on Saturday. Number 2 Florida heads to Athens on Tuesday night to take on Georgia. The Gators are riding a 6-game win streak. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo and save with Progressive. I'm Tony DeZeri, Real Talk 93.3.
Happy hour. We would prefer it to be a healthy happy hour, and that's where my friends at Cornbread Hemp come into play. Your healthy happy hour, a natural and healthier way to experience a carefree moment. You can relax without doing the damage that alcohol sometimes inflicts. No, sir. Cornbread's THC gummies offer a balanced sense of happiness and relaxation. You can work it into your weekly routine. Maybe when you go to bed at night, calm the brain. You're not loopy. You're just feeling right. Go to sleep, get up, start your day feeling good. They are Farm Bill compliant, legal for adults over 21 years of age. Cornbread uses no harsh solvents, none of those pesticides and the like or anything like that. 10 milligrams of THC per gummy. That's for you. That's right. That's the way it works. If you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. They've created a first ever USDA organic THC gummy, 100% legal. Special offer to Jeff Cameron Show listeners. You get 30% off your first order. Visit cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use promo code warchant at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour.
Alligator out of his heat hole when it's colder than the polar bear's toenails outside. Not to mention the added weight of the gold chain I bought Hank last year for his birthday.
Well, it's time to get you back in to see the doctors at Fenn Chiropractic. You can book your appointment online, so there's no waiting in the cold.
You're right again. Look out, Dr. Finn. I'm coming in hot.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finnchiro.com. And you'll even get an online discount. Visit finnchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Bar Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Bar Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Bar Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and And listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Much change in the air. I was laughing during the break when I went to get caught up on what was being talked about in the chat. I don't always see that while I'm doing the show. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I went in there and I saw something that reminded me of an article that I read today. And actually, I know it was said in jest, but I think it's probably true. In the next version of college football, Hogwatcher wrote, spring games will only be held for donors to the NIL collective at a secret location. And you're not far from the truth, I bet.
They already get into scrimmages if they're high enough.
That is correct. And also look at the model of the a la carte pay to play, what we're doing with our entertainment dollar these days. You know, this is becoming the thing, right? We've already said that the Super Bowl will be behind a paywall, and soon. So will the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game. So will playoff series in the NHL or Major League Baseball at some point. I mean, it's going to happen. And it's, you can not like it. There's a lot about this I do not like, but I also recognize that that's where I think we're headed. And, look, and I don't care so much about a spring game per se, as much as I do the interest for my job, anyhow, of going out to watch practice. I care much more that spring football start, not because of anticipation for the spring game. Spring game has not been a good game in a long, long time. You guys are talking about it now. You're 100% correct. I mean, the old Garnet and Gold games where people, played football. You saw real football games being played that were competitive and guys tried to win. And, it was coached like a real game. That's done. That's been done. And ever since that pretty much ended, the way that spring games were played and the way that we thought about spring games, I haven't really cared so much about the spring game as much as I have what it means. It means that we get to go to practice. It means that they're back. It means that we get to see the new players that have either now transferred in or upcoming, new incoming freshmen, things like that you get excited about. In this case, we get an added bonus this year of new coaches. So you're always intrigued to see how that's going to play out and how that affects practice and what the schemes look like, etc. But the game itself, I only cared about that if we had friends and family that were coming into town that I'd get a chance to see on a Friday night at Gordo's or a Friday night at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, where we could hang out and have a cold one and talk a little bit about how you've been. What do we think about the season? That's fun. That's always going to be fun, and that's what spring football represented to me. A chance to tailgate. You and I get to go and do something at Hotel Indigo with our partners there and kind of have a little fun, and maybe a meet and greet. People come out and say hello, and we talk a little bit about and speculate a little bit about the way things are going to be this year. That part's fun. The game sucks.
The game does at least sometimes provide you a moment or two where people get to see what we do in practice. That's the thing that, we'll see what our structure is going to be whenever the practice schedule is released. Maybe they're doing April and May this year. I don't know. But I do like when the spring game happens and we're able to say to subscribers and listeners as they come up, look out for this player. 26 in white today.
Yeah.
Look out for 3 in garnet today. Because I'll tell you, if you've read the reports and you've read the practice reports, you've heard about him, but this freshman be something down the line. That's what I enjoy the most about the spring game. For me personally, less value. We get to see a lot of practice. But I like that people get to put their own eyes on some of the things that we get to see just by nature of doing our jobs. That's where I feel bad. Is there still are a bunch of people who are interested in saying, Well, I wonder what if Chroma was an early enrollee, which he's not, but I wonder what Usman looks like because I'm hearing good things about practice. That's the fun part of this whole thing. So I'm sad for that part of it, but you're right. Just as it pertains to, I don't know, doing a post-game show after a spring showcase.
Yeah, a lot of
Not
fun.
a whole lot there today.
Yeah.
Really thought Malik showed a lot of fight on that 1 3rd down throw they had in that first, all 22 period.
Well, so to my point, I think that this is kind of where we're headed with events that are for those that shell out the bucks. It's going to happen. We're getting this now in professional sports, college sports, you name it. The NFL Combine, which I referenced in the opening hour because Florida State will have 3 guys there in Indianapolis this week. It's underway this week, starting Thursday. You can watch. I do like watching some of the coverage from that. But, Tom, did you know 38 years of history in Indianapolis for the Combine, and it is not a given that it will be the host next year?
Good. Sorry. Was I not supposed to say that?
Well, I mean, I didn't know you had a hatred for Indianapolis.
It's just such a boring building, even the new one, when it went from the old dome to the Luke. I mean, give us a little spark, a little something. I know that it's supposed to be in a quiet setting, so it's never going to be bombastic like the way they moved the draft. That was cool when they moved from Radio City to locations.
Yeah.
It's just, we can do a little bit better, can't we?
They've been holding that event, Tom. This is crazy to think about, in Indianapolis since 1987. And Indianapolis rather enjoys it because a lot of people come to town and frequent their little downtown area. I shouldn't say little, their big downtown area, and the restaurants and the surroundings, of course, do quite well. But the league began allowing other cities to bid on hosting the Combine back in 2021. They do that for the NFL Draft, as Tom just pointed out, and they do that for the Super Bowl. And they required Indianapolis to do the same. The current contract for Lucas Oil Stadium, and I agree with you, that is not exactly what I miss.
Mario says I hate Middle America.
The current contract for Lucas Oil Stadium and the adjacent Indiana Convention Center, also a thrilling locale, to host runs through next year's edition. Indianapolis is popular amongst the regular Combine attendees. So, the regulars, the hardcore guys that have to cover this event every year, they're like, I'll be messing with Indianapolis. This is a good event. Everybody else who doesn't have to attend this thing every year is like, hey, we can do better than Indianapolis, guys. We can.
We can make them like St. Andrews in the open rotation. It's always coming back there. Let's spread the love a little bit. And I don't hate Middle America. I rooted hard for the Vikings as Team 2 for many years. That's Middle America as it gets in Minneapolis.
I enjoy Minneapolis. I've been twice.
And that stadium kicks ass.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, they got a good fan base, too. The whole Skull thing is cool.
Oh, man.
It's really cool. Yep. It's collegiate-like.
That stadium is what people think Jerry's World is going to be like until they get into Jerry's World, which is just a giant version of a basketball arena. That's what Jerry's World plays.
The screen's too big, man.
It hovers over the playing field.
The screen's too big. It hovers over the playing field. You get distracted. You end up watching TV instead of the game. Like, what am I doing? I could have just stayed home to do this.
Exactly. Minnesota has the same size screens, but they're in the end zones tucked all, so you can choose to look over there instead of having it dominate the experience of the game, the reason you're in the building.
Just so you know, the cities that are saying, hey, we want the Combine too, are Atlanta, Dallas, Detroit, Houston. You're not going to Detroit this time of year for the Combine. I hope they never get it. Screw them. Houston, Las Vegas. I would tell them we're not doing it. I wish they would annually have it in Las Vegas. Then I would ask for a credential.
Boy, you talk about.
Well, that's dangerous, though.
What NFL teams would plant people there to tempt players and
hookers
test them
everywhere.
They would do
it. Yes, they would.
If they're willing to ask you, when was your mother first a hooker? Which they did to Des Bryant, or they asked him some such question about that. How long has she been one?
It was one of the great moments in Combine history.
They would plant specific ladies of the night with specific controlled substances to test players.
Well, they're already there, like all throughout whatever establishment you're at. I mean,
the reputation. No,
is it just me, or there is an unreasonable number of hookers out here tonight?
Right. This is okay. Now, Bethany, this is like the guy from last year, but instead of weed, he likes cocaine. So you offer him cocaine.
I do love that her name is Bethany. That's perfect. Bethany, hey, look at me. Listen, you're offering this guy coke. There was a rumor that he loved the coke in college. Do your thing, Bethany. We'll be watching.
Remember, the mic is hot.
Yeah. Vegas, Los Angeles, Minneapolis. Same thing. They're not going to Minneapolis. It's 7 degrees. We're not doing it. I love you, Minneapolis. We're not doing it. I don't want to constantly be in a skyway. I want to be outside enjoying some. Nashville, yes, I like it. By the way, Nashville's got a new stadium coming in 2027.
Is it indoors?
I'm sure it's got a retractable roof of some sort. You don't make any new stadium without the ability to do both.
I think the combine, you got to protect against bad weather. You can't delay the combine because that's right now an outdoor setting.
Right. Well, you've noticed all these stadiums are all indoors.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Dallas, Detroit, Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Nashville, New Orleans, and Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix.
Have you been to Phoenix?
No, just that stadium.
Oh,
there's something about the way that stadium presents on television.
I've been to Phoenix, and it's a weird thing on the weekends in Phoenix. It's a kind of an empty city. It's weird. It's very transient city. It's strange.
All Cadillac cabs. That's what I hear about.
Well, that was Scottsdale, which is right there. It's Scottsdale, Tempe, and Phoenix. But Scottsdale is heaven on earth, but you can't afford it. But it is unreal. Yes, I called for a cab when I was in Scottsdale, and a loaded Cadillac. It was beautiful. Came to pick me up, and I was like, I just want. Oh, these are the cabs in Scottsdale, buddy.
There's just something about the way that stadium presents whenever they cut to it on Red Zone or for highlights. It looks like you're looking at it through John Lennon's glasses, pink tinted sunglasses. There's just a tint to that building.
Stadium?
Yes. Yeah. I get their color. And so therefore it probably has a lot to do with it that they have that burnt red color. But the whole building doesn't need to look pink as you're watching the game. It always does.
Because we do not talk about the NBA all that much on the show, we mention it some when we get closer to the playoffs and all of that. I did want to point out, and I chuckle just because this is unbelievably unlucky, and I'm not chuckling because of the health-related aspect of this, and I really hope, obviously, both individuals are fine.
Hell of a qualifier.
Well, no, seriously. But the world of basketball just watched as the NBA gods got a running start and kicked every San Antonio fan in the junk. Days after the team announced that Victor Wembanyama will miss the rest of the season with a blood clot, and he's played great, and they're actually a fun team to watch now. And I was when they got the Aaron Fox and then Devin Vassell, who we like to watch, and he's made himself plenty of money. I'm like, man, this is coming together right before our eyes. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, until the Phenom is now out for the rest of the season with a blood clot, and you don't know if blood clots, that's dangerous. You got to be very careful with that. So knock on wood, I hope he's all right. And then ESPN reports that Greg Popovich had a stroke, and he's not coming back this year either. I'm like, grand opening, grand closing in San Antonio. Sweet Jesus. Picture two San Antonio fans at lunch talking about their team. Man, we've got a little something going.
Oh, no. Wemby's out. Wemby's out for the year. Don't worry. Pop has been through worse. Pop will coach him up. No, he won't. Pop won't coach him up. Pop had a stroke.
Yeah, no, we got issues, guys. The season's not gonna end well. This is gonna be a tough one. The only other thing that I would point out is that do you remember when, while we're on the subject of basketball, and it's Big Monday tonight, Florida State against North Carolina, do you remember there was a game, it might have been 2-3 years ago, where I thought we crossed the line as fans at the TLC-CC. Didn't we? There was a F cheer that went down on, was it Duke?
Ooh, I vaguely remember this, but as a student who went through the Grievous Vasquez era, we crossed that line a long time ago.
Yeah, but there was a moment where something happened. I went, guys, this game's on all over the country. We probably don't need to rain down F-bombs in the midst of this game. And it was a organized chant. And I remember thinking, like, God, I've heard fans at various universities crossed the line. We all have. We've read those stories. But this one seemed egregious, frankly, at the time. Buddy, we got nothing to worry about. Did you see what happened in Arizona?
No.
The school had to issue an apology because we were bringing up Arizona. The school had to issue an apology after the fans chanted chanted F the Mormons, but they didn't say F while they were playing BYU. And then they, after the game, in unison, loud. Yeah. So what you got from the Arizona Athletic Department afterwards is on behalf of the University of Arizona and the Athletic Department, we apologize to BYU. We apologize to their student athletes. We apologize to their coaches, and we apologize to their fans.
You're going to need to do that.
Yeah.
I was just in my head thinking about if Notre Dame went on the road and played somebody and it's F the Catholics.
Well, this one was F the Mormons.
Right.
So there you go.
I'm thinking of the equivalents to these things. And that's never going to play.
Yeah, no, probably not a good idea. But I felt better reading it. I was like, oh, okay. Somebody crossed the line way worse than we did from a few years ago. And I think ours was directed at a player specifically, and it was what's his face who was tripping people.
Oh, well.
The 3-point shooter.
That guy.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen.
Yes.
F.U. Grayson was the chance.
That was it.
F.U. Grayson.
Yes. Loud. Repeatedly.
That did not cross the line.
Every time he touched the ball.
That's fine.
No.
I was fine with that. I remember this segment. I was okay with that.
I wasn't.
That creep.
Because, well, yes, it's not about him. Obviously, screw that guy. And I wanted one of our guys to punch him in the face. I agreed with you.
Gates, it looked like almost did.
And it would have been great. But, no, I was just saying, every time he touched the ball, that didn't need to be what the whole country heard.
Yes, it did. The fact that Mike Patrick was somewhere watching that game going, this is ridiculous, makes me smile.
Now, I'm desperately searching for a realistic hair color to dye that ridiculous rust-colored looking mane that he had going at the end of his career. Like, sir, that's not even a real hair color. What are you doing?
That would be the crossing of the line is during a game, you yell F the play-by-play announcer.
While he's trying
to call the game.
Well, they certainly could have chided Bobby Knight into a fight. That would have happened. Pitch and Penny Pools and Spas have everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. And they already have the largest selection of premium hot tubs, hot springs hot tubs, that is, in the entire city. You can easily finance those. Some cases 0% too. That's what you do. That's what you do. If you have an older hot tub and you've been looking to put it out to pasture, they'll come pick it up. They'll give you some value for it, haul it away, apply that value to the new hot tub. They got the 5-seater, Tommy. Got the 5-seater over there for you swingers.
The Pentagon.
They make it easy, folks. Go check them out off of Greer Road. Pitch and Penny Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. We wanted to make our last new 2024 models a win-win. You win with a fantastic deal. We win by making room for more 2025s. Listen to these offers. The 2024 all-electric SUV Aria. Get 0% for 72 months and $5,000 off. Not financing? You get $12,500 off. But hurry, only 6 2024 Arias left. Our 4 remaining 2024 Titan pickups are all $10,000 off, and you get 0% 0% for 60 months. Get 0% for 72 months on the last 5 new 2024 Murano SUVs in stock, or you can get $8,000 off. 3 remaining 2024 Frontiers are $6,000 off. 3 remaining 2024 Altimas are $7,500 off. And 2 remaining 2024 Armadas are $10,000 off. People have been waiting a long time for available 0% financing up to 72 months and discounts up to $12,500. Well, Kraft has it in February, only at Kraft Nissan Tallahassee.
Hey, did you see the new portable building from Southeast Portable Buildings? It's like a mansion, but you can move it.
Oh, come on, man. A mansion is probably just big enough for your collection of the world's smallest spoons.
You think I'm kidding? This thing has more space than my in-laws' house during the holidays. And I can finally hide from them in style.
Well, I guess if you need a place to escape or maybe to store your emergency cheese stash, Southeast Portable Buildings has you covered.
Exactly. They've got models for every taste, from classic to modern. Plus, they're built to last longer than my New Year's resolutions.
Well, speaking of resolutions, I resolved to get one of those buildings for my backyard barbecue empire. Imagine the grilling space.
So Tallahassee, don't wait. Get your own slice of portable paradise at Southeast Portable Buildings.
Yeah, give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400, or online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Because sometimes you just need to escape, even if it's just to the backyard.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Tom, was that FanDuel or was it one of the other books that are out there for us to take a look at that 7.5?
According to our own Matt Lasser, who wrote the article, FanDuel. FanDuel is the one that has the odds.
Yeah, I figured they're usually the first to post. So somebody might be asking, well, what the hell are you talking about? Well, we're looking at win totals for college football. And I gave you a while back some of the ones that were originally posted out there. They didn't have ours at the time. They do have ours as of today. And Florida State is at 7.5. If you want to take the over, it's just minus 104. If you want to take the under, it's minus 118.
Shaded to the under.
Shaded to the under, indeed.
Wow, that's a little bit hurtful.
Yes. Yes, it is.
By all means, please take the over at 7.5. That's what the book is doing.
Giving me my minus 104 odds on that 7.5. I will take the over.
I would agree.
I'm going to go 8-4 for our beloved Florida State Seminoles. 8-4.
How do you feel about 8? Is it a wager where you go, this is still a coin flip? Or do you say, no, 8 can be done? I think that's a steady chance at a good return on my investment at 8-4.
Well, again, it makes me think about will they win a game of consequence? That's what it does, more than anything else. I feel like,
if you win one game of consequence, you're going to hit the over, because that allows you a chance to slip up in a game that you would say, what? Like your favorite game. Oh, no, they lost NC State on the road, or they went to Stanford and they laid an egg, or
right.
Pitt came to town and beat them. That allows you, if you were to beat one of Alabama, Miami, Clemson, or Florida, one of those slip-ups in return.
Yeah, but if you're good enough, well, so the games of significance or consequence, I mean, they're all of consequence if you lose them. If you lose to Kent State, that's a consequential loss. That's a hell of a thing to have happen. That's a Mike's going to get fired loss.
There's a press conference on Sunday kind of loss. Yeah.
Should be. So here you go. The games of consequence, as you just noted, significance would turn an eye. People would go, oh, hey, look at this. Alabama out the gates. Miami, as you said. And then Clemson on the road, November the 8th. That's a huge one. And then Florida in Gainesville on November 29th. Those are the ones. If you're good enough to beat Clemson or Florida or Miami or Alabama, then you will most assuredly, I would like to think, not have one of those kinds of games where you go, oh, no, you lost to Stanford, Palo Alto. You'd be a pretty good team if you're able to beat one of those that we just noted. In particular, three of them, Clemson, Alabama, and Miami.
Just referencing that schedule, looking at it again, the ramp up for Clemson is substantial. The period of time that you have to be prepared to take on Clemson.
So Stanford and Wake.
And a bye.
Well, the bye is between Stanford and Wake.
That is a substantial lead up to Clemson.
Yeah, I have a feeling, though, again, and this is where when we're bad, and we have been in recent memory, obviously 2 years ago that we weren't bad at all, but as you pointed out at the end of last week, 50% of our seasons have ended in losing campaigns over the last 10.
Yes, and we had many great lead-ups to our important games last year and did nothing with it.
That's why I can't look at any stretch and say, that is a good stretch for us. Because I don't know. We might not be good enough to beat Stanford or Wake. But if I'm picking us to hit the over on the 7.5, then clearly I think we are.
Yes.
The games that you feel like we'll be favored in or we should win, of those games, and obviously you're not going to say East Texas A&M and you're not going to say Kent State. So these games, Virginia, Pitt here, Stanford there, Wake here, those are maybe the only games that would count for this exercise. Because Virginia Tech, you could lose. NC State and Raleigh, we frequently lose. That's what we do. So really the only games where I can ask this question are Wake, Stanford, and Virginia. Maybe Pitt. I don't know what Pitt's going to be. I don't think anybody does. That's a weird team.
They could be really good or really bad.
Right.
I don't know.
But Virginia, Stanford, and Wake. If Florida State is anywhere close to operating at a efficient rate, those are all games they should never, ever lose. I mean, unless there's, Andrew Luck is the quarterback at Stanford or something. That shouldn't happen. So you feel good about those?
Yeah.
And you have to if you're going to pick 8.
Right, because now you're starting at 5, and so you got 7, and I need to go 3 and 4 in those 7 games.
Yeah.
You want to oversimplify the exercise.
That's correct.
Yeah. Can you go 3 and 4 in your non-layup games? I think they can. You just need to be professional.
Yeah.
And we need to return to a little bit of professionalism here.
You got to play defense like men. You have to care. Got to hit somebody.
You think they will?
Got to earn it. Got to make teams earn it. Doesn't mean they won't, because some of them have the personnel to do something about it, but you got to make sure that that's the case, because you'll get your doors blown off against Alabama if you're not buttoned up. They'll physically go right at you.
Oh boy. Who's got more pressure on them in that game?
Well,
yeah.
I dare say the guy that just went 2-10. I know what you're saying.
It's
Look,
debatable.
Alabama fans are already looking at DeBoer, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, Mr. DeBoer. Especially that one writer who hates his ass.
Oh, my God.
He's somewhere complaining about the shirt he's wearing right now. But, yes, it would certainly be uncomfortable for Kalen DeBoer if he loses to Florida State and Tallahassee to start the year, fresh off a 4-loss campaign in which they didn't make the first ever 12-team playoff. That didn't sit well with Alabama fans. And starting out 0-1 before you ever play an SEC game, What?
I'm telling you, there would be that kind of energy in the stands. I remember this when we played 2015 Miami. I was behind the Miami bench because that's where my buddies' generational tickets were. So they're always behind visiting bench, 50-yard line, 10th row. And there were these Canes in front of us who, when they were losing at the half, and it was still close, they said, good, put us out of our misery. This Al Golden thing ain't going to work. Can you please just drive the wedge? And we did. It wasn't that resounding.
No.
So they were not happy. They lost, and they didn't get the resounding loss that they were looking for that would see Al Golden fired. I would bet you in that same seat this year, if it's 13-10 Noles at the break, there will be some Bama fans who would go, make it happen. This guy was never right. He was never right. Let's end this before it becomes a 5-year problem. Finish us, Noles.
Maybe. I don't know. At 13, I'll tell you this much because you just did it and it made my heart swell. If it's 13-10 at halftime against Alabama, I'm going to start getting nervous.
Yeah.
We could win this game,
Well,
boys.
look, it better not come down to a kick because that PAT Weinberg, I don't know what the hell that was. Okay. We should be up 14-10. We should be up 2 scores.
Oh, man. So their schedule, I hadn't done this before, but here you go. If they lose to Florida State first game of the year, August 30th in Tallahassee, Florida, they'll bounce right back because they have ULM the following weekend. But then they're hosting Wisconsin, who, as I noted last week, gave their coach an extension after a 5-7 campaign. They should beat Wisconsin. They did handily up there a year ago. This one's in Tuscaloosa. Those poor Wisconsin kids coming down here in early September.
Boy, especially after they lose to us. Oh, they're going to get housed.
But then on the 27th, they turn around and play Georgia in Athens. So can you imagine they leave the month of September and they've got 2 losses already?
He's done. No, he will be. And Nick will go to the papers and speak on.
Oh, Lord.
They need to be tougher. There isn't consistency and toughness. Oh, yeah.
Well, then they have Vandy, whom they lost to a year ago, but that'll be a revenge game. They go to Missouri. They host Tennessee. They're at South Carolina.
That's an interesting back-to-back.
They host LSU. Then they host Oklahoma. Then they have Eastern Illinois, and then they have Auburn. Close out the year.
They're staring at 9 wins, maybe 10. That's what it feels like. And he's got his offensive coordinator.
Well, that's the thing. He does. He's got his guy back, which makes me nervous. Of course, they got him back before they come play us.
Maybe they have a clunker to start. Maybe just not quite on the same page. First game.
Well, they were just on the same page together at Washington. It was just 2 years ago they played for the national title.
They might have a confidence issue. They just lost to Michigan. That's the last time that they took the field together. They lost to Michigan.
Oh, man. Yeah, we'll see. I think there's no question, though. Mike's under more pressure because here's the thing. If you lose again and you just got done losing 10 freaking games, and we just continue to add stockpile in the L's, Tom, even if it's to a pretty name, you lose to Alabama and you're 0-1 and you're fresh off of 10 losses, you just don't know how your team's going to respond. You'd like to think there's a resiliency that is going to be the backbone of this team that didn't exist a year ago when they just laid down and sucked every week. But this one, you'd like to think, we can't have that. We got a tougher mentality now. Look, we're going to be distinct underdogs against Alabama.
Yeah, and you
got 2 automatic victories following the game. And you have a bye in between. There's no reason by the time you go up to Virginia, like a high school team playing on a Friday night. Anyhow, there's no reason when you go up to play that Friday night Virginia game that you would be lacking any sort of toughness. You will have had time to lick your wounds if you lose to Alabama. You'd had 2 wins plus a bye.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 17 or 18 new starters, which helps. If you're trying to be something new, then I don't need to see, they returned 17 of their 22 starters. That's not how you become something new. If you're replacing all but 4 or 5 dudes, you can forge that identity really fast, especially with new coordinators. So you're basically a new football team without a new head coach.
You think, does there have to be a result that is within certain parameters as to not have everybody who's sort of borderline on the fence with Norvell not jump off.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, it can't be 42-10 in week 1.
I was going to say, like, what if you go out, host that game, and lose 37-7?
Sir, you don't usually get me to do that. Usually the shoe's on the other foot. You've got 21 days of hell, 20 days of hell because you play on a Friday.
Yes, you do, like a high school team.
Because you play 2 high school teams and you have a bye. So you learn nothing. I have learned nothing. And I'm not sure Virginia on the road is going to teach me a thing. If you get smoked by Bama.
Well, you'll be worried we're going to lose to Virginia on the road is what you're going to be worried about.
If you don't, I don't know that I've learned anything. So we're hosting Miami, and I don't know what the hell we are except the team that got their butts handed to them by Bama.
Yeah.
That is a tough month. Oh, that's a tough month of September. If you get smoked, and that's not going to happen. Can't happen. Cannot.
Are you sure about that? I mean,
you want to take Bama plus 30 or minus 30?
I'm not going to do that, but I mean, what kind of plus odds are you going to give me if I give you 30? 10-1 odds?
I don't know. Got to see what the books say.
Well, I think it's 7.5.
They might say
7.5.
No, I'm saying if I gave you 30, what would the books give you? Value.
Oh man,
create a lines 6-1.
Yeah, probably something like that. You're gonna give me Florida State in 30 at home?
No. I want the Florida State. Because I'm not. This is not happening.
Well, no, it can't happen. It would be ridiculous if I sat up here and gave you 30 points and we're anywhere close to the fourth quarter and you're sweating it.
Well, yes, I'm not even pissed about the bet. Take my money.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be something,
That
buddy.
is not a reality we're going to live in.
No. That would be a tough one. I'm going to tell you that right now.
You found a way to piss me off on a Monday.
I'm just telling you, you are playing Alabama. They have recruited exceptionally well for about a decade straight. I understand they're not the juggernaut they were 5 years ago with Saban, 6 years ago with Saban, but they're a far cry better than our ass, and they have been for some time now. There have been a couple of blips on the radar where the exception was the
I'll
case.
allow 31-17 is the far cry. 35-17, 42-10. No, sir. No, sir.
And definitely not the 37-7 I gave you.
No, man. I'm going to finish half a handle on the postgame show for that.
That would be tough.
No way.
Hey, good news, everybody. I mentioned them earlier today, but I just got this text. Tried and True, pleased to share that their newest menu board, ad board, it is out and about, and Grassroots just signed up for one. It got installed, went live today. So thanks to Ed at Grassroots and thanks to our friends at Tried and True. That's cool.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Real Talk sponsor, JCS sponsor coming together.
Yeah, they're coming together. They're doing it right here. This is cool. If you want to advertise in their Thomasville location, go to marketing at grassrootscoffee.com. They'll show you the ad board. You'll get to see what Tried and True did for them. That's cool as hell. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Perry Police Department is searching for an armed and dangerous suspect after shooting at a gas station turned deadly Saturday night on South Byron Butler Parkway. Authorities identified the suspect as Jaquise Freeman. No other information has been released. This is a developing story. A woman was behind bars after stealing a vehicle and hitting an occupied patrol car before leading police on a chase Friday morning. Tiffany Roberts was arrested and is facing multiple charges. The incident unfolded just before 4:45 a.m. after police officers responded to the 2700 block of West Tennessee Street. When officers attempted a traffic stop, Roberts fled the scene. An uninvolved patrol officer was traveling on FAMU Way before Roberts intentionally hit the officer's patrol car and continued to flee afterward. A pursuit ensued. The vehicle was stopped near the 2000 block of Capitol Circle Southeast after a Leon County Sheriff's Office deputy placed spike strips on the roadway. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Sunshine returns along with warmer temperatures, slight rain chances back on Thursday, and then a sunny weekend ahead. Tonight, partly cloudy, low near 50. Sunny on Tuesday with a high of 74, low of 48. More sunshine on Wednesday with a high of 77. Slight rain chances return on Thursday. Sunshine returns on Friday. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
Well, it's no great being back in the Oval Office looking out over the White House lawn. Speaking of lawns, I got to tell you about the Lawn Johns. They're the best. Anything from basic lawn care like mowing, edging, weed eating, and they can do even a full landscape design. Believe me, it's incredible. In fact, Elon and I have big plans, and we're going to grow grass on the moon, and guess who's going to be doing the lawn up there? Yeah, you got it. The Lawn Johns. Call them right now, or for a free estimate, you can visit them online at thelawnjohns.com.
If an emergency happened tomorrow, would you truly be prepared? Most Americans aren't. My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted name in emergency preparedness, is offering a special discount on their 3-month emergency food kit. Each kit provides over 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. These aren't typical survival rations. My Patriot Supply provides delicious meals and extras, including chicken, beef, real meat, fruits, and veggies. Being prepared is a state of mind. Take advantage of this special discount to secure your family's future now. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. If you order by 3 p.m., your order will ship within the same day, so you'll be prepared in no time. That's mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I just now circled back into the chat to see how that sat with everybody. I laughed at, damn it, now I'm getting mad at a game that hasn't happened. Listen, there's nothing I can say here that's going to affect the game one way or the other. I mean, that you know.
You do have the power to affect moods, though. All right? So understand that. Take care.
Well, Trailer, I will tell you, I don't know who the hell we're putting on the boy wonder that is Ryan Williams. He's unbelievable. But I would like to think we can run some zone. First time in years, run some competent zone. That'd be nice. Tomcat says, I thought when Gus and Tony were hired, we were told they're a bunch of red asses in practice. Don't you think that will weed out the loafers and the quitters in spring practice? I would like to think so. And I don't know how Gus runs practice. I have not told you. I haven't intimated anything about how Gus runs practice, and I don't know how much of the practices that Florida State has that he'll have a say in. I would think a lot. I mean, we've projected that we think a lot. That's why Mike went there. It's a trusted voice. And I do know Tony has said openly that he's going to want to hit. The only way to be tough is to be tough. You can't talk it. You got to do it. And you can only do it by being physical in practice. So I do think there are going to be changes, but I don't know what Gus is going to do on offense as far as I know he wants to run the ball. So if you marry the idea that Tony White is telling his team they are going to be tough, they're going to swarm to the football, they're going to hit you, which means that he wants to hit in practice, and you marry that with the fact that Gus Malzahn wants to establish the running game, which by definition is tough as opposed to something passive like the passing game, then yeah, man, I'd like to think we could deduce that, but I got to see it.
I think, I don't know this by reputation, I don't know his reputation, that Gus will be a tough practice coach because he fancies himself, as he said in the opening press conference, I'm an old school guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you're an old school guy, then you're going to yell at dudes. And Herb Hand doesn't look like a pleasant practice coach. Just looking at him. Doesn't seem like he's a real nice guy on practice days. But we'll get to know that soon. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll learn.
Well, we are going to see them in March, Tom. I can promise you that.
Okay.
They're not going to wait till April to start practice. So you're going to see them in March. February is almost gone, just like that. Just like that, February is almost gone.
I would imagine the tour of duty would be next week because they have spring break 2 weeks from now on campus. And I would think they would do their final workout that we get to see maybe next Thursday or Friday. I'm just throwing darts at a board here. But
so a week from this Thursday.
I mean, wouldn't they break the tour of duty before spring break? That's historically what they've done. So maybe we get to lay eyes on them next week. It's not the same thing, but you at least get a sense of how they sound.
You know, I love my 5 a.m. practice, baby. I love going over to that Cup of Joe.
I'm there
standing there watching it. Yeah, it's the best.
It wasn't last year, but this year.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Get a tall-ass cup of coffee, walk in, and let's see some new faces eager to get after it.
I'm asking Rob if he'll open early because he usually gets the deliveries at Metro downtown. Like, hey, man, can I get a breakfast sandwich? Take in?
I have to work, Rob. You should have to get up earlier, too.
He says he's there at 5:30 for delivery sometimes.
Yeah. He's a hard worker. I'm looking forward to it as well. Venti's 20. I'm getting a
Venti eggshell brown.
I'm getting the biggest of the big, and now I just call them large. But that eggshell brown is so perfect that it's just.
I was good at it.
Yeah,
that.
you were. Delicious.
Didn't need to do it for long.
Delicious. Nope. On to the next.
First thing that happened at ESPN. Y'all gonna go get those Ventis.
Well, yeah, that was
done here.
We're hiring interns.
Eggshell brown.
And I missed. You brought it up last week. Now I miss it. I missed my Cubestas, buddy. Did you see that place is still open or not?
Not here. Let's see. They have a bunch in the state. Maybe they got some near Clearwater.
I'll get a Cubesta down in Clearwater later next week when we get together for the spring training games and do some broadcasts from down there. Oh, that's right. That's what we're doing.
They've got one in Wesley Chapel. That's the closest one.
I don't know. I'm driving over to Wesley Chapel just for a Cubesta. It'll have to be something else, but
just east of Lando Lakes.
You're going to make me do the thing. Ruskin.
Zephyr Hills, Jeff.
Lutz. Largo. Lutz.
Temple Terrace.
One of the great underrated moments in show history that only you and I thought was perfect.
It really was.
Because he got the gist of what I was saying, intimating. He read between the lines.
Holiday.
What was I making fun of? I was making fun of our hometown, but what was I making fun of? I was talking about road hard and put up areas, difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I was probably talking about the folks you see at Rays games or Bucks games.
I think so. I think the gist of it, Lee might have said something along the lines of, that's a rough area of Tampa. And you said, well, there's a lot of them, Lee. And then he started laughing, and then he's like, okay,
yeah,
let's go down the Rolodex. Carrollwood.
The fact that there was ever a bus dedicated, as there was at Bucks game, to what they were dedicated to that's still my favorite story. That happened. That they got busted doing that on a bus outside the stadium on game day. Like, that is so effing Tampa.
Plant City. Odessa.
Did you ever go strawberry picking?
Strawberry picking?
Well, they have the strawberry festival down there in Plant City.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
I did.
That actually sounds like a nice day.
It's great. It's not unlike picking blueberries. It's awesome. You get giant-ass bags.
I've never done that.
Oh, it's fantastic. You got to pick some blueberries this year, buddy. We used to take the kids all the time. I'll have to take you. This time around, I'll tell you, hey, the family and I, we're going to pick some blueberries. It's while it's hot out. It's not now.
Sounds like a cornbread activity. Hey, man, let's go pick some blueberries. Sounds awesome, man.
The first time I ever went to do that, and many of you listening have done this as well. When you go in, you pay for the bag or whatever. You're like, so I can just keep picking these? They're like, yeah, you're going to pay by the pound. It's just, you got more blueberries than you know what to do with. You're making a shake every other hour. Like, I got blueberries for days. We got to do this thing because I pick, Christy picks, both boys pick. We're all walking out of there with big ass bags of blueberries, buddy. And as a kid, I put blueberries on every type of cereal there was. Just handfuls of blueberries.
It's the best berry. You got a berry power ranking before we sign off on Big Monday?
And we're going to sign off on Big Monday because there's just no juice to Big Monday tonight. There's no buzz whatsoever. If you're going, bless your heart. I hope you guys had fun with the free tickets that we gave away last week. Kelly was the winner. Congratulations to you, and I hope you guys had a good time. Got to see us beat Miami, which was great. But, we'll see if we can beat him. It'd be cool to beat a desperate North Carolina team because that could be adios to UNC. Playing the role of spoiler.
It's not nothing.
I'll watch.
It's also his former player.
That's right.
Hubert with the Wizards.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so best berry. I wrestle with this. Now, I'm one of these guys that loves blackberries, but most people will push back on the blackberry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like the blackberry.
I disagree. I'm with you.
I like blackberries. They're very good. I think at the end of the day, I've got to say blueberry. I like blueberries more than strawberries.
Good strawberries is hard to beat. If you cut it in half, I just like cutting it in half. There's something about it it's like opening day for baseball. One win counts for two. Cut a strawberry in half? I don't know.
Hog Watcher, you're right. The blueberry on the oatmeal is all time. Wino says strawberry is clear number one. We disagree.
Blueberry pancakes are for real too.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a pancake, have a blueberry pancake. Raspberries?
Love raspberries.
They've got a very short shelf life. You got to nail it.
Firm raspberries.
Yep,
you can't get the smushy raspberries.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, I check my berries. I'm not fooling around when I go to pick up berries. They're getting fondled. I'm making sure these berries are the way that berries need to be. Yeah, there's no mushy berries out in this bitch. We got to do it right. Oh, that is it. That's all. We can play music for 50 seconds and call it a night, guys. We'll be back with a in-studio version of Seminole Headlines tomorrow.
Hey.
The preseason new player interviews are over. They are over. Now we can go back to being in studio at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I look forward to it. Corey's in town. Ira is ready to go. We got confirmation that we'll be here live. So submit your questions tonight when you see the prompt. Good work out of you, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for watching and or listening. We appreciate it always. Be well. Until tomorrow, peace.